Everybody, this is Joshua Johnson, Johnsonboss on the Discord's Dueling Book and all that good stuff. And today I'm here with a few other GB players, some of which you would say have GOAT status, to go over what is essentially all the different playable types of cards that you could consider in both a standard GB main and side deck. Trying to think about not the things like Prisma or Stratos or Yados or things like that, but just like the other playable cards around the GB engine, mostly like build agnostic, so that you can kind of get our thoughts on all these different things. If you're ever in any of the GB Discords, you see all the time people are bringing up questions on all these different types of cards, and there's pros and cons to all of them. So the conversations always, I feel like, are a little bit limited in perspective because there's always like a pro and con to almost all of them, and that's why we're here to talk about a lot of them today in one video. So joining me is Jake, Mattern, Murray, and Morph, all of whom I think you guys know. If you guys all want to introduce yourselves really quickly before we get started. I guess Jake first, since fine, Morph first. That's fine.
Oh, yeah, I guess I'm in. My name's Morph. I've been playing GB not as long as these guys, maybe about a year, but I do have pretty good results. I did win an Ultimate Time Wizard with the deck, and I've been really grinding it, so I definitely have a lot to say on most of these cards because I've tried pretty much everything.
Hey guys, my name's Jake. I've played this deck pretty much since release. I won an RBET with the deck. I topped both days of the last LDS. A couple other recent things like an EWCQ cut top, but I also topped 8 of the original Shonen Edison as well. So I played the deck for a hot minute.
Quite a hot minute. A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Murray, go ahead now.
Yeah, my name is Murray. I've been playing Glad since actual 2010. My favorite deck. Been playing ever since, and I recently won the LDS in Raleigh.
Yes, you did.
And I have accolades here and there with the deck, so.
Absolutely. I'll try to list out the accolades and like link to you guys in the descriptions and comments on the video and whatnot, so everyone can see all the different stuff that this group has done. For anyone wondering, we did try to get Chase or Simpson online on the video, but he's busy doing the dad thing, so was not able to join tonight. But he would be here if he could for sure. But so without too much ado, because I think this video is going to get longer like they all do than we intend, let's go ahead and jump in. Before we start going through the different cards and discussing them, I want to just give you an idea of the tiers as we organize them, right or wrong. I don't really know the answer to that, but here's what we set it up as. Our top tier is a main deck must include, so pretty straightforward. Cards that are going to be in any GB main deck, no matter what type of build or anything you have, like a card that's going to be there. The next is main or side must include, so something that you maybe could include in the main or the side, depending on your preferences, or maybe if you have like a specific meta type call, something that's in the side common could maybe slide into the main. Then we have a side deck must include, so something that you would probably never main, but something that really needs to be in your side deck almost certainly, without question. And then from there we have our optional plus useful but not mandatory category. The way I've kind of described it to these guys on this is basically a lot of times people come up with cards that are useful in different scenarios or different decks or different metas or matchups or something like that, but certainly not mandatory. And the way I've said it is, it's a card that if someone was like, hey, I want to play this, I would say, hey, I totally get that perspective, and I would not tell you it's wrong to play it. I would say just, yeah, go ahead and play it if you want. That seems fine. So that's what the optional, useful, but not mandatory is. It's not like us saying you have to play it, but we understand. Next, we have our optional and niche, but not recommended. And so it's a very similar type of card, optional and niche, like with some sort of specific role, but probably a card that if you were to say, oh, I want to play this, we're going to say, this is probably incorrect based off of whatever the reasoning is we'll discuss on the cards. But we would just probably say it's incorrect. Again, you can do whatever you want. it's kind of the point of the video. So you just have like our opinions on this, and you can use what you want. But it would say we're basically saying we understand, but it's really not recommended overall for XYZ reason. And then finally, we have the final category of just do not consider for competitive play. And that could be just, there's sometimes really fun cards that we want to run because they can do cool things if they just happen to work out. But ultimately, if we were saying, are you going to go to like a LDS and try and win it? It's the cards that we would just say, like, you don't even need to put any.
These are bad cards.
These are bad cards. These are bad cards that exist for fun purposes. Is where for fun purposes at best is what I'll say. Because there'll be some bad cards that I'm just like, that's not even fun. That's just bad. So for all you guys, all those categories make sense and everything?
Yeah, I'm sure the second we actually start ranking these, it's going to be more clear for everyone, probably including us. But I have an idea of where I'm putting half this card or most of these cards.
Awesome. Well,
Yep.
I'm sure
Makes sense.
we'll be close enough on them. So I guess we'll just go ahead and start. And the first card that we have in our list of, I don't know how many we're at now. It's over 80, I know. The first card, Shrink. This is an interesting one. Who wants to lead off with Shrink here and talk about where they'd want it in this?
I think you should start. I'm not the guy to talk about Shrink. I feel like I'm not. One thing I will say is I almost never play it, so I wouldn't put it in must play. But it's good.
Jake and Murray, I know, both have really strong Shrink opinions, and they've had them for a long time. Go ahead.
I mean, yeah, we've been playing it in both variations of our builds between like the Prisma builds and the non-Prisma builds, like, and at least a one of for like the last 2 years, I think, at least. I really love the card. I think it's just obviously you can live the dream, which happens every now and then, of the equivalent of like them attacking you and G Wabaku and you tag, but in this case you run over the guy and get a tag, which is the most crazy interaction ever.
Yep.
But it surprisingly comes up every single time you even play one, like multiple times at tournament, of Shrink just flat out negating a bottomless.
Yep.
It's so crazy. Me personally, it's not a must include. I don't even like it in more than one for the most part because I don't want to draw two.
Right.
But like,
definitely not.
For me though,
it's kind of,
at least for me, I'd put it in the orange category probably, like the mainer side. Like I
know for middle ground, I agree with that. We're like, it's good enough that you could put it there, but you don't necessarily have to include it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a really good swap out for. I think we talked about how like I think it's like it really excels in matchups like the mirror match and Bayou especially, because like Book is like a lot less powerful in that matchup. And like, there's a lot of times like I'd rather side out Books before I ever sided out Shrink in that matchup. And like, sure. I'd almost consider like if I had one in the side instead of the main, I'd swap out a Book for one. You know?
I think it might be important to just talk about why it's good and why it's like it could be non-included too. I think the obvious thing to us, but maybe not to other people, is I think that it's just a versatile card, and that like if it plays around bottomless, which is just a really tedious card to have to play through typically in GB, but it also has an extra utility of like a battle trick versus like a My Body, which is purely to stop bottomless, or like some other card like Wabaku, which is strictly for battle. So right or wrong, like I think it's just the versatility.
No, you're definitely right, and like it's one of those things, like it's not even just like, okay, sure, you could summon a GB into an open board and negate a bottomless and then swing and tag, but like it allows you in your like end of battle phase to really just be ballsy with bestiari and just bestiari into 3 back rows, and they hopefully you miss the bottomless, they chain the bottomless, so you'd normally 2 for 1, and you just chain the Shrink, and instead of like Book or Compulse, like obviously you'd hopefully have a trap stun, but we probably have a different play line if you had a trap stun. But like, instead of like Book or Compulse, where it doesn't leave you with a base of GB on the field or Chariot anymore, you still have the base of GB on the field. So it's like a whole different like game state it puts you in afterwards.
So some of the downsides I think as a battle trick is that some of your GBs are just, even after the half, they're still not going to be strong enough. Like oftentimes, if you have a Murmillo or Ready Ari, it might not get the job done. A Secutor, obviously, it's not happening. Secutor, and then it only if they use it on your opponent's turn and they do have 2 monsters, typically you're not getting the tag either way too. So that's just some of the potential downsides, and then obviously it's a spell which is useful. Anyway, it's a good card. I'm sure we're spending too much time on it, but it's. I think most of you guys typically main it. I don't typically, but it's a very good card to consider.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely read all the usefulness of it, and for me, it's kind of funny because there's a world in which I personally almost have it here, which is like it feels like lower on the tier than I intend on this ladder here, but kind of just fits this description where like I could see someone not having it in the main or the side, but I would always like never say like they shouldn't have it.
That's where I put it, but it depends how you want to tier things. I mean, this is the first one.
This is tiebreaker.
It's a statement.
Yeah, I mean, like I think that's fair. I think there's a difference between like a personal rule I have for myself versus like a general rule for the card. Like I know a personal rule for myself is like at this point I'm always playing 1 in the format.
Yeah, it's proven. But like proven it to yourself.
But it's proven enough that I'm playing 1. But like I get not playing it.
All right, Murray's going to make the final call now on where this goes, here or here.
Yeah, in the middle, optional use.
Oh, you want?
Yeah,
okay.
I wouldn't fault somebody for not playing it. But if you have the room for it, it's not the worst thing you can play. It's better than most cards on this list.
Yep, I think so too. And it's really good as a one of. Is always how I viewed it, and for all the reasons that you guys mentioned. Cool. I think that was a good first start. Let's go to the next one. We have Mirror Force. Probably less to discuss here, I'm assuming.
I think it just goes hard red main deck. I don't know about you guys, but
I agree. I'm not playing without it. Murray J.
Yeah, and in current state of the format, I'd agree. Obviously, when I topped Edison, I didn't play Air Force at all. But that was a different world. Starlight Road was 2 months since release, and everybody was playing 2 copies in their deck.
Yeah, that's different.
There was no exclusions. It's a different world, and people were more respectful of the power back rows, so they wouldn't overextend. So if you never flipped Mirror Force, they wouldn't just assume you didn't play it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I put it in multi-clue.
Yeah, Murray, agree.
Yeah, I agree.
One of the more simple ones, I think, there. All right. Next, we have X-Saber Airbellum. Who wants to lead off with this one?
I'm going to put it in the optional niche, not recommended.
Okay.
I get the logic. It's a cat target. Sometimes you make synchros and whatnot. But I don't see what synchro is worth making over geysers or Kirk. You know what I mean?
Our purple cards are just better than the white cards. That's just fact.
I don't know if I have a hot take here, but I would say don't use it in competitive play in GBs, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
I'm a hater. I love Jank. Everyone loves Jank, but that scar's not good. I don't know.
There's not a situation where you want to There's not a situation where you'd rather have this card than the Sam Knight or the Tiger. Even if they have an open board, that's more of a reason to Sam Knight, Tiger, and Executor.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I'm right in between these two as well, because it's one of those things because the Brio Goyo axis obviously feels really good, and if you Darius a free monster for the synchro material off of a cat, let's say, then it feels really good. But ultimately, taking the role of a GB, if you just consider the fact that GB's +1s over multiple turns are really valuable, that Airbellum slot isn't that good. And really, we're only talking about upside here. The draw of Airbellum is usually horrible in my experience when I've tested it. It feels so awful when you want almost anything else.
Yeah, I think it would be different if there was an easy 6 or 7-star synchro that you could go into that helps you control the game for a turn, because then like into an open board you could swing Arabellum, swing Sam Knight, tag Darius, bring back this 1 GB that you wanted to synchro with the Arabellum to make a controlling card with a Gladiator Beast. But like there isn't a level 6 or 7 that's going to help you really control the board like that.
Right. Yep.
You know, so yeah.
All right, Morph is going to get the final call on this one because I'm really torn here. We're
Put it in
saying
the garbage.
the garbage. Okay, the garbage. That's going to be a hot take one because I know people really like it. Again, because it's classic though. It's fun. It's just
yeah, they need to know.
It's the classic like fun card, but just too disruptive to what we're trying to do. I agree. Ancient Forest. Okay, who's that?
Oh man, I love that card. I love that card.
Right too.
I would put it in the middle with Shrink. It's optional. Yeah. Like, I'm not playing it because I don't have room for it. Yeah, I don't think it's mandatory.
Yep.
I think it gets a bit worse now that we're on the. I think most people are on the combo Prisma version. It's not saying it's bad, but when it was pure GBs, there's like no downside. I think there's a little bit of pause now.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit worse than that build. It's still very relevant, but a little bit worse.
I think it only ever like is annoying when you go for a Psychitor line because it kills the Psychitor, but you still get 2 GBs.
Yep.
That's like for my experience.
You can just bestiary pop it if you want in the meantime.
Yeah, and you can just bestiary pop it like before end of battle phase, so you're like off the Psychitor right if you want to too.
Yeah.
Because you obviously don't want on the field with the Hurk on the field anyways, because Hurk will just die to it.
Yeah.
So like it's still not problematic. Like in my opinion, it is. I still value if you're even gonna ever consider playing like Nobleman or something because you're afraid of Rykos, that for sure goes in a 1 first.
Yep, I agree.
That's where I have it in my head.
Yep. This is the exact spot on the board that I have it. I had it as well, like coming into this. So just, I think a year and a half ago, if you asked, I know more if you haven't played as long, but if you asked Jake, Murray, and myself a year and a half ago, we would have been like, we got at least 1 copy and maybe even 2.
I bought them ahead of Providence just in case I needed them because I know that card is just incredibly difficult to find, but I ended up not finding it. But I could see it being useful, so I had it in the same tier.
Yep, and I've pulled it out for a long time now, but I think it's one of those ones, exactly this category, where if someone says they want to play it, by all means go ahead and play it. I won't tell you that's wrong, because it'll come up really, really big sometimes.
Like, I think if as a player, if you're struggling against, like, Vayu or something like that, like, it's a solid card to put into your side. Like, I personally don't think I need to put anything more in my side against Vayu, so it's not in there. That's kind of like where my head is with it.
Yep, agree. Cool. All right, next one. We have Anti-Spell Fragrance. I'll start with this one. It's an interesting one. It's certainly not for competitive play. The problem for me is a card that's good into our generally okay matchups. It does feel real essentially it's Giga, Dragon Turbo, and maybe Forks. Like all these like power spell based comboing decks, where we already have like a good position. And I think the real struggle for me is, like, do you really like it that much going second even then? So then we're talking about niche matchups that we have an advantage in, and then a card that maybe we don't even like it that much if we draw it going second. And then it's also a card, if you don't open it even going first, it also doesn't ever really feel that great. So it's a lot of the type of cards that I don't like in that. So I'm going to personally lean optional and niche not recommended. But I'm curious what your guys' thoughts, because I can understand the argument for this one.
I agree with it. Not much to add except that I even like it even less after 4. It's like, yeah, they keep in their salvages and they do keep in their maraes, and it's kind of useful, you know. But I still don't lean. It's not a card I typically go to when I want to side versus that matchup anyway. I don't like it.
Sure.
I completely agree. I think that's more of a card for like if the format's kind of ran by like very degenerate spell-based decks for like combos, and even though there are some combo decks in the format that are really strong that use spells, again, like you mentioned previously, like GBs have a good matchup into it. This also doesn't feel so good going in a second into it. Like, I don't know. I think it's a good card in the right time period in Yu-Gi-Oh, but I don't know about right now in GBs in Edison.
The only amendment I'd make is in my head, I kind of like just being able to stop solo change so good against us, but I'm not signing it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and that's the problem there is, yes, it's also relevant into explicitly frog monarchs. Like, you wouldn't even do it versus hero frogs, in my opinion. Like, I tested it versus hero frogs when I was testing it, and it's not good enough versus hero frogs. So, like, unless we're like specifically getting like the niche frog decks that aren't even that common anymore.
Yeah, it's just conversion forge that side into Solex.
Yes, like that's yeah. Murray, anything to add, or you disagree?
No, I'm on the same page.
Cool. All right, we got a big one here. We got Gladiator Beast Archfiend Shield. Who wants this one? Do you guys all know what this does?
You guys are gonna have to take this one.
You might have to go with this, Josh, because you were the one who actually tried Spartacus out for a while.
Yeah, I tested all that. We have them all here too. Archfiend Shield just equip spell to a GB, and if that GB were to be destroyed in any way, it gets destroyed first. And
one-time protection, right?
One-time protection and falls off.
Yeah.
The other big thing with all the GB equips is when the GB tags, it gets returned to your hand. Instead of staying in the graveyard. So you get some recursion out of all of them if they're not used. And specifically this one is definitely just do not consider for competitive. It's the worst of all of them by far, mainly because the big utility of the equip spells is you get value for free because they return to your hand and use them again. The problem is when you use it actually and it gets destroyed, you lose it in the process. So it's actually just not that good. So probably
one of the worst ones.
It is the worst one by far of the three equip spells. Because I'm actually going to put this above this, but
you got a tier under this? We can put that in there.
No, we don't. We're not adding tiers right now, but it would be for sure. So unless anyone really wants to comment on that, I think we can move on because I know that's a quick one.
Let's keep it going. All
right, so next we got Battle Manica, one of the other equipped spells. This is essentially just invincibility to battle for any GB it's equipped to. I'm gonna show something crazy here. This card's legitimately good. I really struggle to find space for it, but versus Lightshorn and Blackwings, it is legitimately a good card that has just bought me so many turns where they just can't out a GB with this on it, or you get to like Herc Chariot and this on Herc, the game kind of just ends. So I'm going to put this here, but I want to open up a conversation because obviously I can understand the arguments for lower too.
I'm going to be the last to speak, I think.
I'll keep an open mind for it. It's not the worst idea ever. I'm not sold on it yet, but who knows? Maybe there's a future where I cite it. Who knows?
I think it's like the most reasonable, in my opinion, out of the equip spells. The other equip spell that we have somewhere in here also has its niche utility, but right
here.
I'm
fine if we want to put it here too, because it's close.
Yeah, I'd probably put it more in the optional niche section, but I could see it being a very good targeted side against very specific decks.
Yep.
I
personally haven't actively tried it though, like that. Yeah. So yeah.
I'm gonna be the party pooper. Even though I haven't tested it, so I gotta preface it. I think the card is not good. Because if I'm gonna be first in Blackwing or GB, there's so many better cards I'm putting in before it. Not saying it can't be useful, but I just struggle to see myself ever finding room to include it. And then it's an equip spell. I play with plenty of equip spells, and the obvious bad things about equip spells is that you just go neg when they have an answer to the monster.
Yep. Yeah. The big thing with this that you don't really feel the neg as much because of the ability to quest it. So like, yes, the first time often it can feel like that, but when you quest it back, all of a sudden you're like, I just got crazy free value. Now I have like a constant Wabaku on a guy, and unless they have another back row out, I'm in a pretty good spot. But
I'll give it that. A questing a Wabaku sounds kind of crazy, but
it's bananas. It really is. But I'm gonna agree with you guys though. It just. And I love this card. Like, I mean, I probably played 500 matches to 1,000 with Spartacus, or even not just Spartacus, just like a Summoner Monk build, where I use the Respites and this as just like a lot of recoverable assets for Summoner Monk, and it's fun. But I think ultimately probably not recommended. Like, again, it's really close to this fence for me. So
I think that light green though, it's like these cards are not bad. Like, you can find a niche. That's why it's the niche tier. So I think that's appropriate.
Okay.
I don't find any niche for the other card that you made us read. But the
This one's
one,
not
I
good.
can think of Dream of World.
It's not good, trust me. But yeah, let's move on to brain control. I'll really quickly just say I think this used to be optional, but essentially with just the GB meta increasing, it is a must include in the side, and I would put it here.
I would say it's getting there. I would personally put a yellow, but I'm not going to say no to the orange. I think it's broken. I didn't actually side at Raleigh despite all the GB hype, which you can say whatever you want about that, but I didn't verse any GBs.
I played 3 in a row, capped by Jake to knock me out on day 2.
Well,
and Murray played brain control against me to beat me in top 8. So
just for just the mirror. If people realize that deck is good, we're going to see more of it. I'm going to say it's must side, but I just think we're just on the cusp.
That's fair. Murray?
For me, it's an auto include in the side deck.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to respect the mirror match now. Like, you just can't ignore it anymore. Maybe Riley was like the exception because it's the home to a lot of GB players, but I don't know. Like, I think moving forward, I would not feel comfortable entering a major without brain control on the side.
Sure. Yep, I get that argument entirely, and I do think it's close to this edge for me, but I feel stronger about putting it in the side deck must include. So, and honestly, I think too, if you're someone who has less experience with GBs, you really need to find edge in the mirror. I mean, even if you don't have less experience in GBs, you're kind of always hunting for edge if you can get it. But if you don't have experience in the matchup, the edge matters a lot. And so, a game tilting card, and essentially, I think in some ways the hardest matchup that we have is the mirror. It's justifiable because of that.
Yeah, because it's so out of your control. If I was expecting to verse GBs, I'd slam a brain and like 2 econs in just to make sure I win.
Sure. I'm game. All right, let's move on to Breaker. And who wants to lead with this?
Am I the only one who plays this card?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'll say is definitely optional. You could put it in the niche tier because it is very niche. But what I do like about the card, and I'll try to keep it pretty brief, I used to side it for value because obviously you side it, say go in second, pop a back row, hopefully hit a nice suppression, Dream World,
Yep.
And then attack into a Ryko, but also just another way to out, face suppression if it comes up in the game. I used to side also into Light Sworn going second because it's tough to keep sometimes the trap stuns going second in, but you still want to be able to out the Decree or the Royal Oppression or something. So I just kind of liked it because it traded with the back row well, and then hopefully you run something over and whatever. But definitely optional card.
Yeah, I put an optional niche, and I think for me not recommended because of just the availability of side deck slots. It's probably between like the 20th and 25th card I'd be really trying to squeeze in for GBs. Like other decks in the
Yeah, I've
meta,
been
it's
playing it
perfect.
for a couple months.
But yeah, Jake Murray, you guys got. What are your breaker thoughts?
I just cited it for a while. It's good. It's a good card. It's not high on my list of things I would side in, but I would never rule it out. Is where it sits.
So for you, it's kind of like maybe bottom of this, not necessarily not recommended. Like you definitely
at the very bottom of
yellow here.
Fully not mandatory. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that too.
I'm in the same spot as that. Like there was a time period I played it for a bit, and I think it's really good if, like, let's say you have a side plan like it's too bad Simpson's not here on this call, but I know he had the side plan of he's siding into a lot of monsters. Like there was a lot of there's a side he sided into, the extra consecrated. I think there was another monster in the side as well. But if you're used to siding into a normal summon, this is a good normal summon to side into for specific matchups.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Depends what you like your side pattern to be. GBs really do want their normal summons. They tend to hog their normal summons, so it's understandable to not side normal summon as well. So
yeah, and I know Simpsons, Kaiku and Breaker are the two non-traditional in Consecrated Light recently. I know Kaiku and Breaker there are the two that he's really played at our monthly locals, and has had success with as well. And I think his opinion's probably this as well, where this is the right spot for it too, because if we're saying hey, we understand if you want to put that in, even though we're probably not saying it's going to be in the deck list every time. So I'm good with this location for it too.
Yeah, ironically, I ended up cutting the Kaiku for the breaker for the Kaiku when I saw Simpson playing it for a while and tried that out. Anyway. The double Sam Knight conflicts with the Kaiku a little bit, because him and I have talked a little bit about that, because the Kaiku, it's just another monster slot for the value matchup. So now you're cutting the Sam Knight.
So then it's we already have that taken care of in the main. We can talk about it later though. But side note, but yeah, I agree. I think this is a good spot for Breaker. It's not mandatory, but if someone wanted to play it, I don't think we can tell them that they're wrong. Call the Haunted. I'm guessing we're all on main deck must include. I'll lead off with just saying call Tiger, call Cat, call Prisma, call Stratos sometimes for a popper or search of something. Gazaris is the goat. Sometimes you just try and get the Gazaris in the graveyard if you have call, so that you can end phase pop 2 cards and just end the game almost every time. Cards like Broken and GBs. Anything to add to that?
If it was at 3, I'd play 3.
Yep.
Only thing I'll add is I didn't play with it for a couple months, and I was very wrong for it. You just don't realize how good it is, and so you take it out, and then you play with it again. It's like having water after, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good card.
Yeah, the only caveat I'll give is after game 1, it's a card to consider siding out if you're confident your opponent's siding in oppression, because you don't need another free oppression negation target.
Yes.
But it's so good that it should just be in the main deck, honestly. Yeah. And honestly, it's so good that sometimes you're just they only play 2 oppressions, I'll still keep the calls on to it, you know?
Same exact. I struggle a lot. Yeah. A lot of times it's literally the last thing I side out, because I just have something I have to put in, and I'm just I don't know what else to take out. But I never feel good about it because of how good it is. And I know talking with Simpson, even though he's not here, his word would be basically the same, where he's just it's just so good, I don't like siding it out. And I think
if anyone's thinking it's not good, because there's probably people who think well, your monsters don't typically end up in the graveyard, you're playing GBs. It's not true.
Right. They make their way there. And it definitely comes up in the Discords, I know, where I've seen people ask, why would this deck even consider running Call of the Haunted? And usually my first answer, trying to be as gracious as possible, is just asking them how much they've played the deck, because I feel like once you play it a little bit, it's very apparent how good that card is.
Yeah. If anything, I think of it in the sense of how useful and good a cat into a double Samite play can be. It's one of the rare situations where your summon per turn is 2 GBs pre-combat, so you get 2 shots at tagging, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I guess just to build off that, and then before we cut is or before we go to the next one, I always like to think about like the value of a GB on board is a +1 every turn, give or take, depending on the scenario. So just the fact that you get another GB body to the field, call the haunted, even if you just get a regular GB body in attack, it's a +1 every turn. So you think about like its extended value over like a longer game state, and it adds up very quickly because the GB body is so good. But yeah, so that's Call the Haunted. Main deck must include for all of us. Compulse is next. I'm going to slot it quietly here while someone else talks about Compulse.
It's broken. That's all I have to
It's
say.
broken.
Yeah, it's good. It's broken.
I think
Good card is good.
honestly, you should have 3 copies between main and side. That's how good I think the card is.
Yeah, I have that opinion. I feel like the actual question here is like, do you have 3 copies between main and side, or do you have 2? But like, but you're at least demanding like.
The only
1 or 2,
matchup I don't
or at
think
least-
he's going to is literally Blackwing and maybe Hero Beat. But beyond that, like you want it in the mirror, you wouldn't think it. You want it in the mirror, you want 3, I think.
It's great versus.
You want it against Frogs. You want it against definitely Vayu. Like Vayu is really why you bring it in. You want it against Diva Hero. You want it's just a lot of matchup.
And I agree, Johnson. I think it's right in the hero beat, honestly.
Yeah.
The fact that it negates the draw 1 off Gemini Spark, you can set that up so easily and just like stop their advantage like really easily. It's super solid.
It is very solid. I don't think I have to build on it. I'm definitely in the two main 1 side category. It's another flexible card to sometimes create some of those fun Darius combo plays that we talked about, or that we do sometimes, and it's not always the right move, but like it's just I say that just because to say the card is extremely flexible, and I think as you get better with the deck, you being anybody out there, you appreciate flexibility of cards a lot because of how flexible the general deck is, and Compulse is just insanely flexible. Not to mention, like, I mean, one card outing like Stardust and stuff like that, or Zero, is just incredible because those are annoying cards if we get stuck behind them for too long.
Yeah, and like I'm sure you've preached it on your channel before, but like flexibility in GVs is like a whole different thing, I think, compared to normal decks because, like you said, the way you evaluate a GV on the field for a full turn is effectively seeing that it's going to get +1.
Yep.
So having flexibility on the way that you can make sure that GV is surviving is just huge.
Yeah, to piggyback on what you said too about it, just with Darius, like there's so many little tiny things that if you really get tricky with Darius and rulings and all that, that could really maximize this card. Like, you know, a lot of people don't think about it, but like you could even like Darius back a Secutor and then, you know, compulse the Darius before it hits board, and now Secutor is like live with the fact there's just so many little niche things that the card can do.
Just because we're talking about this exact situation, I did lose the match, but the one that I won versus Jake in Raleigh, game 2, I had only had 1 GB tagging, and I tagged into Darius. Darius targeted a quest. I compulsed the Darius. So then I had Darius back at hand. Equest hit the field, and then I Equested Bestiari from the graveyard off of the Equest.
And as a bonus call out, both the quests were either engraved or one was engraved, one was banished. So like there wasn't an Equest to tag into either.
Yes, it was exactly that scenario. Yes, and it felt really good because one, it's just fun. Again, it's fun when those work out, but also I was just like. I was in a game state where like Jake didn't have a lot of cards, and it was basically like, as long as I can get enough bodies, I feel like I'll win inevitably, but I need to have the bodies. And so that put me at 3 bodies instead of 1 really quickly. So yes, Compulse Summary, very good card. 2 minimally available, probably both in main, and then maybe a 3rd sided. Consecrated Light, I think Murray has to be the one that talks about this card.
Card's broken. I love it. But yeah, it's good. It's no, I mean I like it. It's just anything to move Blackman, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna put it in the must include for sure.
Yep.
Honestly.
I agree. It's funny because it's literally just like Chase and I the Friday before Worlds were like, we expect a lot of Blackwing. We had seen a lot of people win, a lot of maybe sub-standard GB play win games against Blackwings just because they put a Consecrated Light in the field and they made a bunch of bad decisions and none of them mattered because this card just walled for so long. And it came up really big for him at Worlds. Murray, it was like we were all in a bar watching your championship match when you put Herc on the field and slammed Consecrated Light next to it to lock down winning the LDS was like, it was awesome. It was so awesome. Mm-hmm. We were just like, oh, shit. So the summary for me is, I think even though it's a more recent edition, it's been so disproportionately good so fast for me that it's a must include. I know you guys have been on 1, right? And I've been pretty staunchly on 2.
I've been 2. I only played 1 for World just because we were, I think, as a collective, because, I feel like we were whispering, all of us, about it, maybe about like a couple weeks prior to Worlds. Yeah. And I was testing it out, and like people, I wasn't used to playing with the card because you have to play differently because you can't dump Bestie like crazy when you have the Consecrated Light because you kind of want the Bestie in your deck to tag into when you have the Consecrated Light, weirdly enough, like because that's how you get momentum, like without going Gazars. So I wasn't feeling comfortable playing with the card yet, and the people were citing the weird stuff against me, like deck dev and skill drain, and I'm like, let me make sure it's good before I side like 2 or 3, but I'm steady 2, like maybe even go 3, like it's that good, like you want to see it.
3 seems crazy, but 2 for sure.
I don't think I'll ever go to 3, but it's 2, and it's so good I almost want to play 3.
Yeah, so to piggyback off that, I went with 1 in my list, but I've been warming up to 2 copies of it because like I get that it is a normal summon, right? That's always things to be careful about.
Yep.
But like at the same time, like they can't summon either, so like it's kind of okay if you draw it on top of a pile of GBs in hand because it buys you time, right?
Yes. It's a great way to say it.
So it buys you time.
It buys you time. It requires them to spend outs on it. And I 100% agree. That's why for me it's here and it's not going to leave anytime soon.
Last comment I'd like to make, so you have to get used to playing with it though too, because it's not a card you don't always have to slam a turn 1.
No.
You might want to save it, because I did the math and like, I don't want to like bore people with the math, but there's about like a 75% chance they draw some sort of out to the card turn 1, and you can draw the counter to the route, like a trap stun or a book, but like there's a chance, it's a pretty good chance, you have to strategically play it later in the match. So it's something to consider if you're like doubting it and saying this card sucks, like play with it for a while.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't play the card for the longest, but y'all recently sold me onto it. I did try to for a bit, and I had 2 different matches where personally I double drew it, and it lost me double drawing it. So I have forever been put at 1, at least for right now. But I do highly value it, and it's extremely good to draw into Blackwing. I'm just really scared to double draw into Blackwing at the moment, but
I totally get that.
That's where I am with it. Yeah.
Last thing I'll say, just relevant to Compulse and Consecrated Light. I have been keeping both Compulses in while putting the Consecrated Lights in now versus Blackwings because of what Morph just said. They do draw an out frequently. But when you compulse it one time and then put it right back on the field, that like ends the game at a very high rate. So more of an overall siding nuance there about the last 2 cards.
Yeah, there's a couple things you could do. I've still taken the compulses out, but I've done tricky things too, like five-sided to my body and like random BS cards like that too.
Yep.
Just to protect the thing. It's that good.
Excellent. Love that card. Easily the most recent addition to this, at least for me, and I think for most people here. Cyber Dragon. This is the first one that I could see the argue of orange. Like if someone wants to main one of them inside the second, this is probably where I'll put it and then let people argue me off of it.
That's exactly where I put it if you're playing Prisma Blast, because it's just so free revealing that off of Prisma.
Yeah, I've made it, maybe like a month or 2 at some point. It's mainable. but always side it, because
Yeah.
obvious reasons for most GB players. Maybe if you're new, you don't realize, but this is one of the cards everyone brings in against you.
Yep.
So you want to be able to access at least one pretty much in every matchup in game 2 and 3 with Prisma, because you can Prisma dump it and then contact with Air Sidra.
Catastor, Card Trooper also in that conversation. Sometimes just the clean 2000 that you get off of it. Gadgets. I agree. I think this is the right spot for it, because right now it's still going to be in my side, mostly because of deck space, but if we played 50-card decks, it's probably one of the main.
Yeah, like, I'm honestly, like, this is, if anything, this is the prime card that gets me to, like, keep in Call of the Haunted versus, like, Gadget decks when I expect them to sign it pregnant.
Yep.
I'm just like, but this could be a third Cyber Dragon. Like, this could be a third Fire deck. You know?
Yep.
But yeah.
I'm on the same page.
Cool.
It's so close to being main deckable too, but deck space, that's the only thing keeping it back.
I agree. It really is deck space, because I like the flexibility of it. It is crazy. Sometimes you're just like Cyber, normal, all of a sudden you're like, oh, all of a sudden I'm dealing like 3,000 to 4,000 damage in a turn. That feels pretty crazy when you're not used to that in GBs, really.
If we get a weird meta shift, I could see it happen at some point. Is that
Something I will call out, if anybody out there ever tries to test main decking this, it falls into, when you're not playing against machine decks, it really fills a very similar niche that Smashing Ground plays.
Yep.
So it's the kind of card that I would consider not main decking the one Smashing Ground to play.
Okay.
Because it kind of falls into the same slot of, like, they need to have a monster on the field for this to even be worth something. And the idea of it is to clear that monster so you get your GB through.
Yep, and potentially like fast removal of that big thing in your way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, I see that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, we got the DDs next to each other. I'm going to let someone else do this because I don't like these cards.
I think all three of us could talk about it to some level.
Yeah. I mean, I think wherever they go, I personally would put them in the same tier.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with that.
I think the only difference is Warrior Lady is more flexible, but Assailant is a bigger body that can stay longer and also dodges DDV.
Yeah.
After that, it's just whether you like the cards.
But there's one little nuance that, from playing with both for a while, if you play Wabaku, D Warrior Lady's typically a little better, just because there's a world where it battles and you want to remove the card, but you can't now.
Yeah.
Another thing is Book of Moon. Like, if you're like playing the GB mirror, if Warrior Lady gets booked, then they can tag off it now. But
sure.
At this, otherwise it's just stats and then deck devastation virus. Small nuances. I would put them. It's either yellow or, like, if I'm being real objective, I'm sure some of you guys would say green, and I'm not gonna fight you super hard on it, but I did main deck it in
your
Providence list. Whether that was right or wrong, it was useful all weekend. But I'm not gonna say that. It's an optional card. I'm considering cutting it, but it has its uses for the Blackwing, GB, and Hero Beat decks.
I would put it in the same category as Breaker, like above Breaker.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fine if you don't play it. Like, it's not the end of the world. But again, the option's always there. It's one of the better normal summons you can play.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in my opinion, like, Warrior Lady, Assailant, Breaker, and Kaiku all go in that same tier, in my opinion. Like, they are one of the better normal summons you could be citing.
Sure. Okay.
It kind of depends what you're looking for, Yep. Because, like, it's a great, like, in my experience playing Assailant, because I had that in my side when I won Vegas.
Yep.
And I brought it in versus, if I ever played the mirror, versus every Blackwing deck and every single Hero Beat deck. Those were the auto options where that Assailant came in. And it was a great monster. And honestly, there's a lot of times they wouldn't expect it. Or if you set a monster, they might think that you're signing like the one hot below miss. So like they try to swing big over it. Yeah. And it's like, nope, it's good advantage, So.
Yep. Yeah. all those are valid, and I do think, despite me saying I don't like the card, like there are uses enough for them that it just belongs in this category to say it's not mandatory, but it's optional and useful, and like I understand if someone wants to do it, and put it in there. I think especially with the rotas that I think we're all playing now too, like it makes rota a little bit more flexible, which is kind of nice, as well. So I'm good with that category for both of those, and all of us sounds like we believe DD Warrior Lady's flexibility is a little bit better, especially because our deck devs should be out versus us in games 2-3, so that
should be. It isn't always though.
It isn't always. It isn't always. But yeah,
just like Gorz should be out versus us game 2 or 3.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen. So
yep.
I've lost. I know you know that. So.
Yeah. Life is life. All right. Let's go to DD Crow. All the DDs were together. This was actually a coincidence. I don't think I put these together, and I just realized D Fisher, DD Crow, Warrior Lady, Assailant were all together. That's crazy. DD Crow. I mean, it's either bottom of this or top of this, and I don't know exactly where.
I'm inclined to. It's definitely in between. I really like the card. Recently, I haven't sided in a while. But I cut the Kaiku for the Crow recently, and I just really like it. I don't know, it's a really good card. Sometimes it's so hard to side monsters in this deck, and it's not a monster, it's a trap.
Correct. And
being able to be resilient in a heavy storm on top is so good. Bursting Frogs and just being able to go, like really close them out, you know what I mean? You go ready hard and then have the Crow for the other one. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even side in versus like frog decks outside of Fishborg, to be honest.
I typically still like it, but either way, if you like them on top, like even better, you know.
Yeah.
I would put it the very very top of optional use.
Yeah.
Like I played one in my side deck, but it was literally just like a 15th card. Like I was like, whatever, it's Crow. You know, it's like. It's the least bad card I could think of in the morning of.
Yep.
It's fine. It's fine for what it does.
I think I had it in. I had a stack of 5 cards for my last card, and my buddy Juan. I just gave him the 5. I was like, randomly pick one and give it to me, and that's my last. And it ended up being Cold Wave. So DD Crow wasn't in my list for LDS Raleigh at all. So I agree with the not mandatory part of it, and certainly it's right at the top. Like it's very very close to mandatory, but not quite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I have it as well.
Cool.
I mean, I've only sided occasionally, but I really do like it. So this makes perfect sense to me.
Yep, I agree. This is where I'm putting this. What do you guys think?
I would love to agree with you, and in my heart of hearts, I'd put it there to let everyone know it's bad, but I have to put it in niche, I think, just because it is. But it's bad.
That's completely fair. I don't think it deserves to be lower than Spellbreakers. I think it's in the same category as Spellbreakers.
Okay.
Like there's going to just be like if at some point we ever moved into a format of where it was like an actual like 2-deck format and one of the 2 decks with like 40% like tournament percentage that we could manage to beat was like Twilight, then maybe. Yeah. You know? Like like I could see it, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I
think for statement's sake, I'm good with it being at the bottom of this entire list, though. Like, stop signing this.
Yeah, I know, right?
I cannot recommend it to anybody right now at all. But I do see the argument for it. I will tell you you're wrong if you play it.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, again, just like Spellbreakers, it's better in the targeted formats.
Yeah.
Like there were formats after Edison where like this card was limited to 1, and you for sure sided 1 copy of it.
Yeah.
But like that's not right now.
Exactly. Yep. Okay, I like this home for it. As long as it wasn't yellow or higher on anyone's list, I'm fine with it down there.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have enemy controller. It's gonna kind of end up being here, probably here. I think right now. But what are your guys' thoughts on enemy controller? It's basically another GB.
It has to be like right where you put it, pretty much. Like maybe I don't know. We're nitpicking if we put it above or below shrink, but like it's really good. It's just a matter of how much do you want to side for just the mirror, because it's only useful in mirror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's also where I'd put it. I think that I almost want to say that because after valuing the mirror enough that I want to say must include, but it's not. Brain control is a must include side deck card, and there's technically other cards that you could be playing for the mirror that are similar-ish to enemy controller that aren't frame control. That I don't know. So I think I'd put it in the yellow spot.
Yeah, I think that's where it belongs.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Morph really wanted Raikou in this list, so Raikou is here. Morph, you have to place this.
Okay. All right. Well, really want is definitely a little bit of an exaggeration, but I was fighting to have it on the list over some of the other options. I think it actually is useful. I've played it in tournaments before. It typically paired with Hamster, so it's kind of hard for me not to talk about this card without talking about Hamster. So I don't know.
Let's place them together. We can place them together wherever we put them.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where they go. I mean, I think they're better than D-Fissure. But I have made them, and one thing that I think people sleep on the card a little bit about is Hamster is actually kind of well suited into certain meta decks. Hamster's typically pretty good in the Blackwing.
Yep.
It gives you a turn one play that is not going to lose you to heavy. It can get Raikou. It can get Test Tiger. It can get Sand Knight. And one good thing about getting the Raikou is that typically when an opponent's monster attacks into a Hamster and you set a Raikou, they're not setting anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like, all right, well, I'm not setting stuff in a Raikou, that's dumb. And then you have a clear path to get a tag off or Secutor them or whatever. And Raikou's just generally a pretty versatile card. It's a good set into cards you just can't deal with, which is a lot. If anything over 2,000 attack is typically kind of difficult for the deck. And milling can be a double-edged sword, but can sometimes be useful. But I like it. I like Hamster specifically into Blackwing. I think it's okay. It's okay. I wasn't really fighting to have it on the list more than just saying, hey,
I know
I've played this card before, but that's kind of my synopsis.
I think it. And I do think we should just place them together because it makes sense to play them together if you're going to play them. They're both good cards in the format for a reason, and I think we can take advantage of them in a little bit of unique ways, but ultimately I'm just not going to recommend the slots in the deck for these cards is really it for me.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am. I'd almost argue, if I, for some reason, had to pick one of the two, I'd actually almost put Hamster in the deck without a Raikou, because the Hamster still has the few targets that are relevant.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I think that where we have it is good.
Yeah. I almost want to put it here, but we're giving more for some.
They're good cards, man. It's hard to put them down there. But it's very niche. It's a niche pick, and not recommended. But I kind of recommend it. It's you ask me on the side.
Fair. All right, we got Forbidden Chalice next.
Good cards. Unlike this card, I don't like it at all in GBs.
Yeah.
The fact that if you want to use it to pump over a guy, the fact that you can't tag is so ass.
Yes. Yeah, the 400s are really bad for the most part.
It's literally, do you want a quick play, like, damage step, like, effect negation? That's all you're actually playing it for.
When we have War Chariot already. So it's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have it. I have put it on the list because I've seen people play it and everything, but I think it's do not consider for competitive play. Like,
I think the reason that any deck plays this card is because they're not GVs and they can't play War Chariot. Like,
yeah.
What's good about this card is nothing good to say about it, so we can move on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a time saver for us.
Yeah, there you go.
Fossil Dyna. For me, it's in this same conversation of these, like, obviously very meta relevant for a lot of the decks in the format. Is a normal summon in GBs, but I just love its flexibility. I think it's basically in this group of normal summons that are relevant and useful for a variety of purposes.
So I've actually never sided the card ever in GB. So I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are thinking, when is this meta relevance? So what do you typically, what prompts putting it in the side for you?
I'm also curious because I would have put it in like the D-Fisher tier just because like it disables your engine while it's face up.
It does. I think
like frogs or like Machina. So, you said it?
No, not Machina. It's basically, so for me, where I've enjoyed it is anything comboing. So frogs, turbo, Giga. Right. Frogs, turbo, Giga are like the main ones. I've like put it into like zombie decks before, and like anything that like potentially has 5 cards in hand that it can wall, I've liked it in. I don't have it in my side decks right now for some of the reasons you guys are talking about. But for me, like, I've like normal Dyna and said GG quite a few many times when I've had it, and so and its Regeki effect is very much so not irrelevant.
I can see it. I mean, Dyna is typically a card you want to play in decks with a lot of background that can protect it. And I don't think there's a better deck in the format that protects than us. So I can see it.
So I understand putting it at the bottom of this, but I do think I'd want for me I would group it in all of these similar normals for sure.
Makes sense.
Sure.
Murray, do you have a? I'm gonna lose 3-1 if Murray wants to put it here. So we go.
No, I think it's fine with Breaker and the DDs.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's ever like an abnormal amount of like combo decks in the room, I wouldn't mind looking at the Fossil Dyna as an option.
Sure, I like it. All right, it's gonna be there in the yellow category. All right, next we have Gale.
Must include everything.
That's fine. Get that out.
You know what? I kind of would say I'd put Gale a tier above Arabella.
Sure. I agree with that. Like normal summon out
Because Gale is almost like Cyber Dragon of like this will kill a monster.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly really popular as a Tigerless build, but then it's like you're playing Tigerless, so it's like
Yeah.
I could dream up a universe where I side this card. It would take me a long time, but I could. And like it might involve like completely warping my side strategy and bringing in Siroko's and
it's also like probably the matchups that you sided in both Cyber Dragons. So you try to live the dream of going Cyber Dragon Gale into a Stardust to be a GBF, right? So like
I don't know.
Back in the day, people would just splash a Gale into the deck and call it a day. I don't know. That's like a product of its time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It's a like as somebody who's for War League played an anti-meta deck for a little while, playing one Gale in it. I think it is just a solid card. But like you're also like it's not really being a targeted side deck for anything. So like I don't know. You have to like really want to beat something down.
Yeah, and it feels like
I think it blends into. I'm sorry. You can go first, but
I was gonna say it feels. There's like situations where you're like Gale's awesome here, but like it's not. Like Diva Hero is probably the closest you can create because you have Stardust Ab-Zero on the board so frequently at 25 that it can one card out both of those. So like,
yeah, I was gonna say that it could just be Grand Mole.
yeah, and it could just be Grand Mole in that point. So like, honestly, it's a card that I think if you're gonna play it, it's in the main. It's not in the side, because you just apparently like it enough for generic usage because it has a good effect over big monsters for a deck that can struggle with it. But I think ultimately this is where I have it too.
Yeah, and it's a card if you're going to play it, you'd be playing Grand Mole instead, probably.
I think it's a card people typically think about because they think that, and not wrongly, but like when you first start GBs, you're like, the only thing I lose to is a big monster. Like, obviously, I want to like kill big monster, but in practice,
Yep. Okay, I think we're good with it here. I do agree, a small tier above Urbellum because its standalone value is potentially better. Okay, we have our. Okay, I keep clicking. We have our GB Battle Halberd. This is do not consider competitive play for me as well. It is above Archfiend's Shield. It just pops up.
Isn't it just Unifrog?
It's Unifrog, yes. With one small caveat that usually doesn't matter, but it's also mandatory. So if for some reason you have it on the field, it has to pop itself if there's no other targets. It's pretty rare because you're tagging out and returning it to hand, and you're not going to re-attack.
Yeah. So you would have had to activate it intentionally that turn.
Yeah, or they could be like, oh, I guess I'll call this random monster because you're going to kill it.
Activate my legacy before you attack it.
Yes, and then it has to kill itself. Yeah. So it has a downside there too. Obviously, like I've had the dream games where like I'm playing Blackwings and I knock out like an Oppression and a Black Whirlwind with it, and I also have a free card that turns into a Hurt discard or something. So like it has its kind of cool roles, but ultimately it shouldn't be in the deck. There's too many other good cards.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think there's probably nothing else to say, honestly. All right, War Chariot. I think we can make this real quick.
Good card.
Most busted. Like we're the only deck with a recoverable trap card that is anywhere near as powerful as War Chariot. It boxes games, incredible card. I don't think we have to say anything else on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Gorz.
I put this where Cyber Dragon is.
Gorz where Cyber Dragon is. Yeah.
I think technically you don't have to, but you should. Like 90% of this. I'm not going to go on a weird tangent about why you shouldn't. I just put it inside deck.
It's Diva Hero. I like it a lot with Machina. Obviously, Vayu is the big one. I think mainer side for me.
Also, just a lot of people just don't respect it the way they should in the GBs. And even though at this point for the last year, people have seen GBs maining Gorz, but people just don't respect it the way they should. They're like, oh, big body into GBs, like it's going to be at least problematic for them to get over it. And they just swing into a Gorz, and they're like,
better card in real life.
Oh no!
I don't know. I can't tell you why. It just is.
Yeah,
it is.
You can hide it. Easier to hide it and tell a narrative with like your interaction on in person.
I want to feature match like that. That's all I'm saying. I made my opponent convinced I was dead, and he misplayed it to a Gorz, and he died.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. I agree.
Yeah.
It would be awesome. Well, your Saber, that was your Saber match was like that, right?
No, it was I played against like a quick draw pile round 3 in Vegas, and I was at I saw him like literally like turn 1, it was like turn 2 of the game, and he had the field, like he already had OTK on the field with like one more card in hand, and he decided to like leave the extra card as his idea was like he could have a mirror force face down. But there was a line that he could have created like a colossal or an Arbor Arm line to like play around Gorz because it was only at 4,000.
Gotcha.
But I just made like the most like defeated look on my face that he just instantly went battle phase attack. And I basically just go like prison tigers like Gorz and everything.
I love it. Card's good. Period.
Yeah.
Morphing jar. Morph. You want to talk about morphing jar?
Do you think I would like have something to say too? Even considering it's just I don't have a lot of like actual time with the card, but like it has done well in people's decks. I'm sure both of you guys played with the card, so I'm like, we gotta talk about it. I'm gonna put it in my head. It's gonna go in an optional niche, but like I think there's a world I play it.
I mean, just like Econ was in my main deck in the original Shonen Jump. So
Wait, it was. I didn't recall it was in your main deck for the Shonen Jump. That's cool.
it was in my main deck for the Shonen Jump. Yeah.
Damn.
I will tell you, there's like a reason why this card felt so good at times. So like one thing was like back then, everybody's playing 2 rows, including like GBs. You played 2 rows. So, like, there was more protection for it. But also, this was a world that the Hopalomus still felt good in the main deck.
Gotcha.
And everybody super feared and respected Hopalomus and GBs. So, if you set a monster, they were afraid to attack into it. But they also didn't want to overset because they were afraid of, like, you summoning Prisma with a Hopalomus and blowing up things. Yep. So, they ate right into the Morphing Jar with the pluses every single time.
Yeah, I mean, I've been the victim of that. Not just in the GB mirror or anything, but just in general, and it hurts.
I've been victim of Morphing Jar more times than I can count.
I think the other...
The card is just so swingy and always swings the wrong way.
The other thing it has in its... Again, Morph, you mentioned this earlier, because we have so many back rows, we really get a control when Morphing Jar resolves. Which is a big part of, like getting value out of it. Like, when we get a, like, Compulse book, prison something, so that the morphing goes off on our turn, it makes a big difference in like how much advantage you generate off of it. So, for me,
yeah,
like,
I mean, like you can even do funny things of before you flip Morphing Jar, you're like, I'm gonna compulse this monster. Okay, Morphing Jar, like like.
Yes, you can do some wild things. So honestly, like, if someone wanted to run it, I wouldn't tell them they're very wrong. It's hard to find space for it, but if someone really wanted to play it, it's obviously just a main deck or nothing thing. You're not like siding it randomly.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't tell someone they're like definitively wrong for playing Morphing Jar. So I like it.
Yeah, I already talked not recently, but maybe this last year with the like 45 card with the Morphing
That was
Jar,
also the Icarus. That was a wild build. So
but I will say this is another one of those cards like that I think just gains a lot of value if for some reason like you're able to fit Hopalomus into your build. There's that card plays such mind games with players if they see that in any one of their 3 games that they will fall into this card every single time because they're always afraid of Hopalomus when you actually set a monster.
That's fair.
So
I like it. All right, let's go to Smashing Ground. I think for me, it's a main or side must include. I know that there's maybe some debate on 2 or 1 being correct. I have 1 and 1 in mains, and then 1 in the side. But for me, it's here pretty definitively.
Cards where you can play it in your main or your side. I'm on 1 and 1 for Raleigh, but I'm considering going like 1 and 2. It's that good, especially in the Black Wings or the mirror. It's like really good card.
So where I am is I have that card at the equal exact power level as String. I know I've talked to you. I know Murray knows this, but I talked to you, John, about it before too.
Yep.
I think they are the 1 and 1 card to me, but for the longest it was 2 and 0 Shrink to the Smashing Ground. So like I actually like Shrink a little more than Smashing Ground as a general card to use.
Okay.
I think Smashing Ground is very solid, but I would not be opposed to not even sidelining it.
I'd be so worried to play in the Black Wing without having a copy somewhere. That's me going second. But maybe I'm wrong for that. Because I don't think Shrink's particularly useful against Black Wing, so I'm trying to think of what the equivalent would be going second against that deck.
Yeah, no, it's just a matter of like you have to either approach it differently or you have to just make sure that you have some sort of different ways to deal with their board. That like you're not trying to like aggressively go into their board. You try to like defensively respond to it, right? Like versus like the set prison path or something like that into their monster, right? Like something
against Light Format, I think it's so good going second. I max them out versus Light Format. You just want to be able to do more stuff.
I feel pretty strongly about keeping 1 copy somewhere. I know the interchangeable argument. This is definitely like they fill a similar spot in the deck. I just like this into a lot of the things in the meta. Like sometimes playing Lights when you're just like you just said, Morph, like you're just like Yeah, I'm just holding this smashing until you summon your JD so I can get rid of it. And yeah, so I like it here. And again, I do think a lot of this is kind of unordered, and this is like an interesting spot of the tiers, but they're very, very close. I think smashing has to be included.
I think if it is an optional tier, it's better than pro at minimum.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah, I'm pretty high on fighting ground. I probably wouldn't leave home without it.
Like when you go to the restaurant or a restaurant or something, you're just carrying a smashing ground with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting case.
I like it.
You never do it.
reflections, yeah, that's fair.
Cool. Well, I let's keep it here. Is where I'm going to land on that, and then if we can slide it if we need to. Trap hole. I'm guessing we're all going to feel very similarly on just a side deck must include.
Yes.
Yep. The only thing I'll comment is I tried to take it out recently. Like in the PBR, I mean, somehow did make it second place. It was a big PBR with it, and I was just scared. I was so scared to reverse Black Wings. I tried to take it out thinking Book of Moon could kind of fill the same summon, stop, roll, but the card is just mandatory versus Black Wing, and Black Wing's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know I've told some of you before, but like that card is a 3 for me before I even add 1 consecrated to my side.
Yeah.
So like for Black Wings, I think this card is just overall the way you want to play GBs and the way the game that you're playing, like the 1-for-1, like stopping their summons and getting their advantage. Like this is a card that gets you to that game state. Consecrated Light instead stuns them instead of going like 1-for-1 and card advantage, and hopefully stuns them long enough to disable them for you to get ahead. So like the one card is just purely just 1-for-1 out something and really messes up the plan, and the other one is like almost like a skill drain or a pressure type of thing. So like they have different values, but like man, the turn that you play a hurt and you have the normal summon that turn to a hurt, you'll be happy that you had a smash. You had a trap hole in your hand instead of it being consecrated, and they were able to out you because you couldn't normal summon it. You already used your normal summon, you know?
Yeah.
They're two conflicting cards, but you need to play them both, I think.
Yeah.
I'm on 2 and 2 of them. I could see a world I do 3 and 1 or 3 and 2, but 2 and 2 is just where I'm at now and probably where I'll be for a little bit. But yeah, I just think a trap hole 2 also very relevant for me. Hero beat and the mirror trap holes are very good as well. Also recruiter decks, samurai. Yep. Like there are a lot of decks where like that first body presence and is a normal summon that it just carries value. Any stun deck. Any stun deck. What was that?
Lightsworn too.
Lightsworn. I haven't been this Lightsworn.
Work on Arkansas.
Yeah, it cannot work on. It came up in one of Jake's featured matches.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't work on Arkansas.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, they made trap hole target.
It's really weird. Yeah, but I think ultimately, it just has to be there, and there actually is a lot broader usage for it than. It seems like on face value, I think, when people first see it. So, let's go to Hedgeguard. For me, this is actually dropped all the way to optional niche, not recommended, honestly. I know Jake and Murray, you guys have both been talking a little bit about it lately. What are your thoughts on where it should be?
I guess I'll start. It's not mandatory. I wouldn't say it's mandatory. I'm probably going to put it in the niche, right?
Yeah.
It's a hand trap. So it's very unique compared to like other cards like Wabaku, Deeper, and stuff like that. So it's very hard to read. It's always a card that I have on my list of options. But it's more on the niche side, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, like, I personally put it in the not mandatory tier. However, the way I see it is it's either at the end of that tier or like the highest of the niche tier, in my opinion. Because it's not just that it's a hand drop. It would be different if it was just hand drop Waboku for like one moment. The fact that it is the only hand trap or Waboku type of effect in the game that this set can run that chains to Kalute or Honest to save your guy is enough of a point to like make it an option, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, and I want to quickly add to that. The only reason why we brought Hedgehog back up is because in our list we're playing Cold Wave. So Blackwing sometimes can clap back under Cold Wave, and Hedgehog is the only card that can protect you under a wave.
Yep.
So that's the only reason why Hedgehog is on the table again as an option.
Yeah.
It does combo. I've had a lot of Sekitors get hit when they thought they're in a good spot with wave in place, and it gets them.
I will also point out that like it's for some whatever stupid reason its stats are like not relevant. It will force a removal spell from Hero Beat.
Yep. I mean, it's
It's 2100 bucks. They actually
defense.
just can't run over it. Like,
Yeah. This is true. This is a factual thing.
Gotta talk about the downsides a little bit though too. I think the card's cool, but it only prevents one battle, so it's important to know.
Yeah.
So
One
sometimes
battle.
you think you're safe, and they just summon two monsters, and you're like, oh, that's kind of horrible, which is Waboku.
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I think you have to have a very targeted idea of why you're siding it. I think its idea is like if you plan on using it into matchups of where either if you expect the game to go that they're going to heavy or drain you and swing at you with one giant thing, then sure. Or if your game plan is I really need to counter Kalute and Honest, and those are your main things, but then it's okay to side it for that. But like I wouldn't, if you had a different goal in mind, I wouldn't side it. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Let's do a last vote. My vote would be here. Jake and Murray, it sounds like you guys are both here. Or maybe I'll split on that. Tell you what, Morph, decide. Here or here?
I don't know. Let's make him happy. We'll put him at the end, optional.
Okay. It is close. It's close either way. But
I put it in right here. Right, let's put it there.
yeah. All right. It is not mandatory, optional, and useful. Indomitable Gladiator Beast.
Just shockingly good.
You think shockingly good.
It is.
Give it a home. Okay, we need to give it a home.
I would almost put it at the top of that green, the light green tier you have it at.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. If Shrink didn't exist, I would consider playing one of this card.
It's a 500, right? Attack?
It is a 500. 500, that's a questable. And you can also just bring it back to your hand if you have 2 GBs in your grade. But it creates unique lines of like, you can, instead of like, let's say you summon the already swung, and it's one of those situations where he's like, man, I really wish I have nothing to kill. I have no quest targets or whatever. I wish I could like just tag into a quarry again and have a 21 on the field. You could instead tag to a quest and add this back to your hand and effectively have a 21 quarry on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's some unique applications, and it becomes strikingly better if you ever decide to play the regular backers.
Yeah, that's definitely fair because you just have more ways to return it to hand for free, or if you mill it. I will say, like I've played this card and like attacked for game with like a 4500 hook. Because I had 4 GB cards in the graveyard to shuffle back. So you just main phase play it one, return it, play it again, return it, play it again, and all of a sudden Herc was giant and went for game.
Yeah, like on our not last season, but season before that, on our World League, Greeny on our team won his match in the final week. That he goes, he literally just goes like summon Retiari, like. Shuffle back 2 GBs, add this back to their hand, play it. Shuffle back another GBs, add this to your hand, play it, run over RTR for 22 in a limited game state and won the game because of it. He ran over RTR over Cyber, but yeah.
That's really
I
fun.
was like, that does it. Like,
I do remember when you played that. Yeah, I think it's fine here. I definitely am not putting it in yellow, but for those reasons that we just talked about, like, and I guess if Manic is here, it's just as good of a reason for that to be here too. So
yeah,
I'm good with that.
In my opinion, like, out of the cards with Gladiator Beast in his name that we don't play, it's like the highest on my list, in my opinion.
That's fair.
Okay. The respect I give it.
All right.
Like, yeah.
I'm good with that. What'd you say, Morph?
No comments. I have nothing to add.
Okay. Kaiku next. I feel like Kaiku is going to be similar. We've kind of already said it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's going to end
you already
up
said
in
it.
our big group of like quality normal summon monsters that have good effects. Useful, Twilight, and value. I think for me, the space is always the issue, like we talked about the other ones.
Sometimes frogs, I guess, you know.
But it's like, it's useful versus frogs, but are we really going to make space for it? That's where I struggle sometimes.
It is high value, so it gets full, just like everything else, by 2,000 baht. But I think you swap it in and out with Crow, like for me. I don't think you side both typically. I mean, you could, but.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think it is what it is. I don't, just, like everyone in the format knows what Kaiku does, so this is just saying really you can play it in GBs if you want to, basically.
Yeah, good for Gardner because it hurts us especially. That's the only.
I'll tell you what though, something I never really realized with Gardner and for other decks, at least GBs get to determine when Gardner gets used. It's really frustrating if you're playing like Blackwings versus Value and there's a Gardner sitting in there and they just get to save it for the most important moment.
Yeah, for when
it's
they
super annoying. And like I really have realized that with GBs where I'm just like, at least I'm choosing when you're using that, and that's a huge advantage for it. But that's a side note. But
it is nice, I guess.
Which you know what that actually just reminded me, like as a call out with Gardner and GBs choosing that out. That is like a huge area of where sometimes like strength is a blowout versus value of them swinging on their turn and you red TRing their Gardner so they can't even maintain it and negate any attacks on their turn.
Yep.
On your turn, next turn, whatever, it ends up being huge for them. So they go on turns, they literally play an Armageddon Night and they go swinging for your Mill or something like that, and they're like, oh, pretty good, that red TR. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a good call out on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's Kaiku. Next we have, let's do Shadow and Light at the same time, just because they're both here. Light is certainly, in my opinion, like
better
here, significantly better. Light, it's not a must include, but I find myself wanting to include it quite a bit, and I think it's squarely somewhere in this category.
Yeah, I have no testing with it in GBs, but I think it's definitely playable. Not much to add past that.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I have them that Shadow at the same value because they also have the same awkwardness with GBs of like both of them are going to stop your Geyser's plays for the most part because Light stops Prisma and Shadow stops Geyser's itself. It just depends on the format what you're trying to stop. Like, obviously, like, you know, Shadow's great into, like, value, Light's great into Light Swarm. Like, it kind of depends what you're trying to stop. They are very valid options for the matchups. But also be mindful that, in general, it's going to be harder for you to Geysers while they're on the field.
Yeah, it's definitely a fair point for them. And I think one of the reasons that they're not, like, more frequently directly included. I feel like there's very limited ways to really handle Lightsworn. So, like, for me, I value, like, Limb way more than Shadow Imprisoning.
Yeah, me too. It's just its
like,
role.
I
think it's just better typically in Lightsworn than Shadow is into Value or Blackwing. Blackwing is awful. But Value, I can see a world that's high maybe, but...
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I think that, like, right now, at least, like, into the deck that you want to slide Light and Mirror into, like, it has more value, because, like, value inherently is playing, for example, Right Ghost either way, that's going to out Shadow Mirror.
Yeah.
But, like, Shadow Mirror is one of those valid options where, like, in the right meta setup with the right dark deck, like, it's great.
I mean,
it would be fair. Yeah, it would be fair to put Shadowmere in each though.
Yeah, I just think in like the meta that we know of Edison today, I think this is where I would put Lim here, and I would definitely have Shadow Imprisoning here at best.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Like it's like right like that. Cool. All right, we got Legendary Jiu-Jitsu Master. Recently starting to be decided because of us. 4 GBs, I still would probably put it here myself. What are your guys' thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Agree. I've cited for G's before. It just gets bizarre. I'm good. The card's bad. It's not really bad. It's okay. It's okay, but it's so high variance. I'm good on that. I don't think it's
I would also argue that it kind of competes with what you want Warrior Lady and Assailant for.
Sure.
Like the kind of thing you're trying to do, except you can't be aggressive with it.
Yep.
So like it's just like inherently not as great unless you expect it to bounce 2 things. But yeah.
It's good. It's okay. It's all right in the black ones too. So people are like, I have 1 card for 2 really important matchups. Just don't think it does great in either.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's the perfect summary of it. Useful, but not. Just can't. Not room for it. With other things, definitely better. All right, we got Mask of Restrict next, and I haven't played this in a long time. It definitely has been okay when I have played it. I think it reasonably is in this category with optional and useful but not mandatory. What do you guys think?
Yep, definitely. I've cited it when I know I was versus Forks or Frog or whatever in World League 1 week. I think it's useful. If there's Frog in the meta again, which seems like it's trending the other way, like maybe. Good into it's okay. Into Gigabytes, blah blah. Only thing to watch out for when you side this card is it turns off your tires. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I agree. Jake, do you agree with that? Anything else special to add there?
I think that's fine. The only additional call out I'd make is like if you plan on siding it into like Frog Monarchs, I don't even know if it's the option you want to go for, because versus that deck, like that is your prime deck to Secutor, and you usually need Tiger to Secutor, and if you're setting off your Tiger, that doesn't feel that good.
Yep.
But it's good if you're trying to stop very specific things in certain decks. Like if you think like if you're signing it for a Frog combo because it stops subs to code, like then that's different. Like because you're trying to stop a combo deck. So
yep.
Yeah.
I agree. Obviously, a good. Everyone knows what Mask is too, so we know what it does. Dimensional Prison, fairly easy.
There you go.
Must deck include. Jake, I know this is like what feels like your favorite card. There's not a lot to say about it, but anything quickly you want to say?
Play 3. I know not everybody does play 3. It's really good. It's so good this format.
It is good.
You could always side out 1 for something you want in your deck later, or 1 or more. But like, I don't know, man. Play 3.
It's a fair argument. I will not tell someone they're wrong for 3. I've been on 2 for a while now, but part of it's for deck size purposes too.
Play 2 or 3. I don't think you guys spend too much time on it. It's really good. Okay.
My body as a shield. This is like the definition. Honestly, I think if this category had like a picture of a card as its label, I feel like my body as a shield is this category.
Super optional. I played it the entire time I played GBs. It's a good card. It's a high variance card sometimes.
It sits in my hand way too long, too frequently for me to want to play it.
Yeah, I know. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it deserves to go in that tier. But it is the epitome of the card of any time I ever draw it. Like you're about to say, it sits in my hand until I'm at 1500 or less, and then it's finally live.
Yeah.
Right. So one thing is why you want to actually side it, despite the downside. And I'll try to keep it as brief as I can. But one thing you have to realize when you're playing GB is that what people typically do to counter you not typically, but it happens pretty often, is a lot of these decks will start bringing in road. They'll bring in their own my bodies. Bottomless is already really annoying to deal with. Torrential, blah blah. If you're playing against Blackwing, they bring in Icarus attacks, they bring in fissures. It can be very good. But, and it's a big but, that the card can be very dead because you have to pay 1,500 life, and sometimes they just don't trigger it. It's like one of those cards like Road. So you have to think of why you're siding it, but if all the checks work out and it's worth it, then side it.
Yeah.
Don't side it against GB though. A lot of people do that. They have it in their side deck, and I've done it for a while, but it's not because it's high variance. Like sometimes they'll just pop both your back row, and it's not going to work out. It's just you want it in the matchups where that thing is going to get triggered. So I typically like Red for Blackwing or like Hero Beat because it stops like Spark. If you need a good reason.
I think because you can't like damage that my body on a Ryko or like.
Well, that's a whole different conversation then. If we could do that.
I'm just saying. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's okay. I'm not too big on it, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay is where I am on it as well. We survive if it's there, but I don't. It's very infrequently in my side. Is how I'll put it, even though I think it is in this tier. All right, on to the next one. Actually, the only other thing I'll say on this one, Herald of Orange Light. It's really fun to my body a Herald of Orange Light when you Gazara stuff. That's the last thing I'll say. Or Stardust, honestly, too. That also does come up.
That's true. You guys know about that.
So, yeah. So, it is fun for that reason. Neospatian Grand Mole, Morph.
He's getting 2 back-to-back cards. This is a must include.
What?
So
this is not a must include.
So it's gonna end up in the
There's a 0% chance we're allowing this in a must include, Morph.
I will tell you more of that. There is a world. I think me and Murray talked about it most recently in the video that we did. But there is a world where, like, a year down the line in this format, that, like, if there was any random monster that was not a GU that we named after, it would be this one.
It's right now. No, I'm kind of joking. I'll like cut the shit, but like. Grand is my favorite card in my side deck. I would cut so many other cards before I cut Grand Mole, and the reason why I like it, it's, in my opinion, extremely good into a lot of decks that kind of give us trouble. Not that they give us trouble, but like the deck has trouble dealing with decks to pump 8. So being able to, like a lot of people, game 2 and 3, they side it or they summon Thought Ruler because they typically don't have a lot of outs to it in the deck. So being able to just bounce Thought Ruler at your versing Deep Hero, or like Flambeau or something stupid, like just being able to bounce it is nice, and obviously it recurs. But I even like it in the Bayou is really why I side it. Because after they summon their 6-star synchros, you can just bounce it then. Bounce any synchros they make. Even sometimes you just bounce the Rykos. I've bounced dads too after they've spent it out. It's really difficult for me to explain how useful the card is without showing you guys some replays. But
I mean,
this card, sometimes you summon it and they're just like, I cannot have this thing, you win. And what's good about the card too is a lot of decks. They'll summon Grand Mole, and it just gets de-prisoned in like that game. But we have so many ways to protect the card that it could just become such a monster. Like traps, trap songs, compulses. It's just it can become a real menace.
All right, I like the argument. I've definitely played with the card quite a bit, and I've had it come up where it has had really, really great games. I think I still struggle to get it in there, but certainly it's in this category. I don't know about finding a way to get into the main, like Jake just said, but
yeah, but I approve. It has my stand.
I mean, like ultimately the card's really crazy. in what it's trying to do and what it does for you. It's just a matter of can you make it work? Because GBs are a deck that are very hungry for their normal summon, and Grand Mole is a card that wants to be using the normal summon every single turn when you're looping with it.
Right.
So but it's hard to undervalue literally plus ones into synchros, plus ones into ab zeros, which nothing does that.
Ab zero,
it's really hard to argue how good that is.
Ab zeros, it's hilarious when it hits an ab zero. Honestly,
it is so good in the DB Hero. I don't know why there was so many DB Hero at the event a couple weeks ago, but I swear to God, people were just losing it. There was some Amaryllis guy, which is strange. We have a good matchup, but the guy just couldn't deal with it. It just kept bouncing his titanials, and it was disgusting. But anyway, thank you for not putting it in the green tier on the bottom.
I definitely wouldn't have put it. It's squarely, I understand this. Just very rarely is it considered for me, but I like it. I think it's a cool card at the very least. Nobleman of Crossout. Honestly, for me, this is here. I really don't consider this card. I've realized, because I never played GOAT, I've realized all these people that come to Edison, or that I see in Edison, they're obsessed with this card. They all played freaking GOAT. And that's why they like the card so damn much, I feel like. Because to me, it's here. I understand, like we said earlier, it's it's worse Ancient Forest in GBs. But I still don't like the card enough to even say it's here. But what do you guys think?
Card, and I don't even value that much of if it hits a flip effect damaging all the copies. I'd argue if you really want that effect, just play Shield Crush.
I think the downside too is a lot of people rightly side out the hamsters. So you're just trying to hit a Radico. So it's often dead. The only plus side I'll give Devil's Advocate is we do play a couple of books, which is kind of.
But then you're
cool,
spending 2 cards.
Anyway.
Yeah, then you're spending 2 freaking cards to out something, and almost always we're hoping for a better scenario than that. I mean, it might come up, but it doesn't mean it's good.
I like knock in other decks because you have to.
I think it's necessary. It's
think
necessary in the other decks sometimes because they have no way of handling it. But GBs, we have Gazaris and we have Chariot. We take care of that role pretty damn well for the most part.
I think we could put this in the green tier. I don't think anyone's on the side.
Yeah, honestly.
I think that's too high. I don't.
Even lower than that. All the way down, lower.
Do not consider?
Yeah.
I'm good with that. I'm glad that you guys are good with this, because I probably would have said that if I was you.
I'm pretty sure the Battle Manica beats that thing out. So
100% Battle Manica to the top.
Yeah.
Let me fix Battle Manica. Okay, I like where we ended up with that, because I always think it's wild when I see people do it. All right, we got Dust Tornado. We're going to speed up actually a little bit, because a lot of the cards that we have left are instant selections. Yeah. Dust Tornado, interesting. I'm certain your guys' perspective on this has changed, because it's obviously here or here. But talk about what you guys are.
I'm almost at the point where I think MSC is optional.
Yeah, and I think it just depends on where the format goes. A year ago, I would have told you it's side or main, but the format has changed in a way of where you really need sweepers instead of targeted removal, because decks are becoming so aggressive that the way that you fight them is by setting a bunch of cards. So a lot of people set a bunch of cards, and even if they don't have ways around heavy, and you need to just have ways of sweeping the back rows, you can't just 1-for-1 them.
Yeah.
I will always call out, though, if I'm in the middle of a tag during the battle phase, I would always rather have that face down than a stun into an impression.
Always.
It will kill it'll kill the impression versus the BB being forced to tag into a bestiary.
Always is a really rough turn there with how much I want to leave impression up.
I think this is our first schism, but I love leaving impression up.
That's fair.
I leave impression up if it's even remotely reasonable. If I'm I'm probably not losing this guy with I got 2 traps to take care of stuff. I'm leaving the impression up in a lot of scenarios. But I know what you mean. I think to your point, the real thing is when you know that you need to be able to be doing follow-up tags and everything, you would usually like it over it, and especially if you only got 1 GB tagging, right?
Exactly.
Because if you have 2, then you're fine.
Specifically, the 1 GB tagging turns or whatever. I'm like, oh my god, this card is just it's the one I'd rather have to the impression. Yep. If there's multiple GBs, that's a whole different area.
Right.
I think the only time I kind of like the Dust Tornado more is it's either if I'm versing specifically Gigavice or a deck like that that has actual things I want to dust. Sometimes I was considering doing over a stun and GB going second. But I don't even know if that's right. I just don't feel like these cards do enough. I'd rather just play Cold Wave, play Heavy, play Trash Zone. I just don't think it's necessary to be unfair.
I will call out that compared to maybe Bayou, the Blackwing matchup, I don't think this card is objectively worse than Stun into, because Stun obviously has the huge interest blowouts. The fact that this also, though, hits Whirlwind on their turns is huge, and it also allows you to play around Icarus by setting 1, blowing up their Whirlwind play, and then at the resolution, setting the Chariot or setting the Compulse for your play, to play around Heavy, to play around Icarus, it allows you to play these really fancy balancing acts against Blackwing to improve the matchup.
I get it in theory, but I think typically I'd rather focus on popping the Whirlwind with my best Diari, and just everything else should just be removing their monsters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's definitely fair.
I definitely lean that as well, but also there are games where if they Icarus target it and then you knock something out with the Dust Tornado, feels really great. But ultimately, I agree. I haven't had it one-sided in a long time because I
think this card is also I think this card in general is almost a stronger card than an MST in GBs, but you play MST because you can play it for your hand.
Yeah.
The fact that its second effect has so much value in this deck, because we have so many traps that are useful on our own turn, that you can you don't have to risk face down during their turn to get blown up, and instead you could just set them up during the end phase to make them live, like the Chariot, like the Compulse, like the Call is huge.
Yeah. Or Solemn, if we want to push our movement on, there definitely is value to that second effect. I think which
I've done nasty plays. I did a nasty play in Worthy where it was literally just set Dust Pass. They went Shura Whirlwind, and I dusted the Whirlwind. Off of the dust, I set the Starlight Road, and he goes set 2 pass, and I go GB Tiger, and he goes Icarus me, and I go Starlight Road. He just sees.
That's wild. That's awesome.
Yeah. But
I fully agree. It has its role, and I think this is just the appropriate spot for it right now, especially with where we're at in terms of the right GB build with Prisma Tiger, Stratos, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next 2, I put these 2 together. Was it Resplasure? It's Jowls of Dark Eyes and Resplasure of Selection.
Side econ or something.
The Jowls I put in light green.
Okay.
Jowls I think is strictly better than Jujutsu Master for the mirror. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
strictly better.
I would agree with that for sure.
I think it's better than Warrior Lady Assailant for the mirror. This card's good for the mirror. It's only beaten out by Brain and Econ. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
If it goes off it, I agree with you. I just think that these cards are strictly worse than, not strictly, but as close as you can get to strictly worse than Brain and Econ, until we're siding 1 Brain, 3 Econ, just don't put them in your side deck.
Oh no, for sure. But there was a reason why this was the next most played side deck card in the GB format. it was Jealous of Dark Demise because it blew up the mirror so hard.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't Raflation, the only one I remember is just a worse version of Jealous because Jealous does the monster attack directly.
Yeah, it's literally just worse. Yeah.
So like that's why it's here different. They're literally the same effect though. Besides that, but like there is a world where where GBs are the best deck in the format, like we all thought they were.
Yep.
And I would sign this card.
That's fair.
Okay, that's fair.
If it was frequently enough, yeah, it is a good card. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I agree. It's optional niche, not recommended. With significant meta changes, maybe it elevates. All right, we got Proving Ground.
We just put that in yellow and move on.
Yeah, I agree with that. It is what it is.
Yes.
So if we don't fight over it, it's fine.
I'm not going to fight over it. No, it's fine. It's all right.
I think it's so I'll give my quick 2 cents on it as somebody who I won an event with this card in my deck.
Right.
I think it is a must play if you're not playing Prisma. You need another way to search best yard.
Yeah.
But if you're playing a Prism build, you don't have the room to play this. That's how I have it.
And Prisma's just better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we all agree there. Respite.
Can I put this behind Arcane Guild?
Yes, at the bottom.
I'd love to put it there, but to give fairness, I mean, like, I don't know if Javi's done well with the card.
Yeah, I know Javi from Texas is trying to respite.
I'm just a major hater.
I'm going to be, I don't like the card, but he's continuing to do well. So I really can't say anything about it, except because I just can't, I don't know, it's got to be all right sometimes. It's at least niche.
Can we put it behind Gale?
Yeah, I mean, I'm agreeing though. Like, this is one of those two, and I've got a couple hundred matches easily in the Respite builds, and it's fun, but you're gonna lose games when you just draw Respites and you don't need them, and it just isn't as good as everything else.
I just hate the fact of like either you Respite and you draw back a worse hand, or your hand is like exactly what you need. And Respite, you're just playing with a 1 card less hand because you don't want to use the Respite. You're afraid of drawing more.
Exactly.
It's a brick to fix your bricks. It's like
exactly.
Yeah.
The only thing that's nice about it is that it's a questable, so you potentially can quest like 2 Respites back, and all of a sudden you got draws.
So that's
and it's Summoner Monkable.
It comes with Summoner Monk crazy. It's fun. It's still not correct, but it's really fun when you use it with Summoner Monk.
Okay.
The thing with the last thing I'll say on it is the way I always looked at it when I was playing a lot of Respite matches was if 2 different times in the match I quest a Respite back from the graveyard and then I use that and I draw a free card, then it takes 2 of those events happening for me to think Respite impacted the game significantly positively. I'm washing out like bad draws versus good draws because that shit's just gonna happen. That's just variance in the end, anyways. And I just look at it as like if I get 2 free cards off it, then it's a win. And ultimately, the matches where that's already happening, if you just don't have the Respites in the first place, you would just have more useful cards while you're playing, and those are all like excessively win more. It's not it, but. We can probably move on, but
I think if you're playing that reckless build, I would, if you're gonna do it, I agree with it. There's more chances to
still dog shit. Wrong build.
Agree.
I'll aggressively say
it.
Yep, I appreciate it. So does Javi. Oppression, I think just easily, it's not a must include. It's easily in this category. I fucking love Oppression.
Oppression, just a broken card.
It's super.
Do you want to tell people when you sign in? I think that's the only context because people ask that.
Sometimes in the mirror going first, I kind of go back and forth on that, but I think it's fine there. Ultimately, really, it's like I do put it in versus Twilight, not versus Standard Lightsworn. I put it in versus Diva Hero. Any of the combo decks, I have it in, not Dragon Turbo, but Giga and 4. If it's really just for game 3 if I don't think they've converted. If they've converted, I don't have it in. And then there's just like random decks, like maybe Amaryllis type stuff. I don't know, just the stuff that special summons like quick draw stuff.
Yep. That all makes sense. I think that's the thing that people ask most about. But
Yeah.
it's a good card. Sometimes you want to play it.
Simpson and I usually have it in, and we both pulled it out going into Worlds just because we felt the meta wasn't going to support.
Yeah, you're gonna play Black Wings by.
Yeah, it's just and which is how it panned out for the most part. So, but really like this, and it wins a lot of games. Sangan. I have low reps with this. I think it's either high, very high in this not recommended, or the bottom of this.
I think it's better than we give it credit for, but I still don't think it's good. A lot of people message me all the time about saying, if you
I know.
you see double the cats. I'm like, they're wrong, but I'm not going.
I know Ma topped the YCS with it. Like, the time was with it.
Ma also had 20 normal monsters in that. Or 20 monsters in that deck of 40 cards. That was wild.
Yeah, Spear Reaper and all that stuff. Yeah.
And then obviously goes without saying, there's a wacky build floating around a little bit ago with Prisma and Limit Reverse. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're playing the weird niche build, play it. I wouldn't typically play it though. And standard.
Does anyone feel like no one feels like it should be above the low side?
No, I would put it in the optional, top of optional maybe.
Yeah.
But if I would be in not mandatory. I don't care which tier you put in, but it's either at the top or the bottom.
Yeah.
Those two respective tiers.
So again, it's like one of those cards that you're either main decking or you're not. But then, as a caveat, if you're main decking, like you're probably hurting your Blackwing matchup because that card's real bad in the Blackwing.
It's bad in the Blackwing and GBs, and those are the two best decks.
Yeah, like honestly, yeah.
And it just sometimes its slowness is just as much of a liability of its positive effect. So we'll put it here, and just if someone really likes it, go ahead to play it. We understand, but we don't recommend it. All right.
Throw track those shoot to red and move to record 3.
Yes. Whoop. Here we go. That was quick. Trap Dust Shoot.
The only thing I'll say, I got a message today about Trap Dust Shoot because if you play over 40, still play it. I don't care if you're playing 45 cards. Like it doesn't matter.
There is a numeric threshold where I think there's a fair argument to say it.
I agree. I just think for typically, like just because you're at 42 or 43, the math isn't that different.
Yeah, it just should be there. Reckless
Like
Read.
the 48. I probably do like the 48-50 range before I consider dropping Trap Dust Shoot, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I have not honestly put that much thought into like where that number is, but it's probably somewhere around there.
Yeah.
At 43, you're at 14%, and at 40, you're at 15. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to mention.
Reckless Greed. Do not play this card. Card fucking
I think we
sucks.
spoke about it kind of in a long-handed way.
We did with the.
If you're gonna play with the respite, and go funny
almost-
with it, but I don't think
Go Buck Wild, but yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's almost always -1. Shallow Grave. It's here. It's also here for me. I probably played 100 matches of this.
Why?
Because when I'm trying to test a card, I want to get.
Yeah.
I want to make a. Really, when I want to eliminate a card from consideration, I want to do enough work so that I don't even think about it ever again.
Yep. No, I get that too.
And
All
so
right, good.
that's the approach.
You did the work. Don't ask us.
Yeah, don't take it. There's going to be fun turns that happen because of it. It came up actually because people, when GBs were at Worlds, and I think we didn't have Tigers yet at Worlds, people played the Shallow Grave so that they could still do Prisma Dump Bestie plays. But it's not it, guys. I promise.
Yeah, actually, I think it was. I know what you're talking about. I think it was actually like we didn't have Darius yet. 'Cause the original set didn't have Darius. We didn't get Darius until like a set or two after DBs came out.
Okay.
But we did get Tiger. So I think it was that. But yeah, they literally did that. I think at some point during GB format too, sometimes they played like 100 copies of this card, but there were limited options. There was also like 3 full days in that format. It was a different world.
Yeah, that's very different. But it's just, don't consider it.
Yeah.
Now we get a couple more easy cards. Trapstun, main deck must include. We're all on the same page here, officially.
Yeah.
Heavy must include there, despite more.
I'll say I didn't make it at my event, but it was wrong tonight.
So it was wrong. I'm glad you won still, but it was wrong.
Yeah, you can, if you're really afraid of the road, you could use to not ban it, but just ban it.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, if I lose one round at this tournament, I don't top because it's top 8. I'm just gonna side it. Like 1 second into a pressure deck.
And like I topped Edison not playing this card at all in my deck list, because back then people would respect it the entire match.
We made mistakes. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly, right? So like they're gonna set one against me the entire game. I don't really need heavy, do I? Like, you know?
I think Trapstun is better than heavy, the hot take. I think it's the reason why you
it is. It negates. It's also solemn judgment frequently, while we keep our cards.
Heavy's the worst of our sleepers.
Yeah.
That's my take for sure.
That's fair. Snowman Eater. It's one of these 2 tiers.
I say do not play it. Like you said, play.
Or have you not?
If there was like if Hero Beat, I've played it whenever I was Hero Beat was a little more prevalent. Like it's actually absurdly good versus Hero Beat, but it's like
an optional tier. There's a world where I don't think it's a good world. There's a world where Hero Beat is more represented than it is right now.
I'm good with that.
That's fair enough. Yeah, we can put it there.
It's not today. But it would take Hero Beat not just like coming back. It would take it being a prevalent thing in the format for us to consider.
Yeah, right. It'd be like 20, 23 levels where people think it's a top 4 or 5 deck.
Yeah.
Probably even top. I saw a ranking video earlier today just for Sideboard, and they're ranking it second best deck. So I don't think we're there.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Starlight Road and Yellow for me.
Yep.
Agreed.
It's very same story as My Body's a Shield. You do not have to play this card.
I think it's better than My Body.
I think so too.
Yeah, I agreed.
My book of
Play
Moves,
with copies of it. You're wrong for not playing with copies of it.
Yes.
That's where I'm at with it.
I agree. It's just flexibility, back to the same conversation.
Like, yeah, when we talk about flexibility, like that is like the peak of flexibility for you.
Yeah, absolutely love it. Summoner Monk, optional niche not recommended, I think is where I'm at.
Right. I don't care where we put it in that, but it goes in that tier. I think we're good.
Yeah, it's better. Yep.
It's close to this too, but I'm fine if someone wants to play it. Super Poly, I'm gonna kind of put next to Snowman Eater for my same logic.
I'll give it there because we have so much extra deck RAM, and we already played a couple of heroes that you can reasonably side this very easily if you wanted to like really hose Hero Beat.
Mm-hmm. And it's just not prevalent enough right now, but there's a world.
Yeah.
System Down.
I'm gonna put it probably the bottom of the yellow tier. I would never really side it in my head, but like there's a world like I don't know.
Simpson loves this card, and so does Crank. Simpson doesn't love this card. He likes this card. Crank likes this card too.
Yeah, like if you really wanted a third Cyber Dragon, then sure. The only thing I will note of this card that's like super cool is that you can use it to blow up machines while you're under impression. So
I don't mean to get on a tangent, but it's just funny lore. Did he not main it in like a War League? Like we.
Crank had a week where he didn't main it. No, he sided it against someone. But what made it crazy is the guy like got really, really angry and annoyed by it, and he demanded to look at Crank's deck list that was submitted for the week. And then the guy was like, "This is the craziest thing ever. I can't believe you'd have that." And then he ended up leaving the War League Discord because people like flamed him so bad because he was blowing up. It's a must side. No, it was a really funny story. I agree.
Anyway, I think we typically have a pretty good mocking matchup simply because of the Prisma package, but
it would take mocking to be more frequent than it is today. For a while, it was there a lot. But,
I know in the monthlies we have down here, there's like an abnormal amount of like Machina control, like the Raikou Kai's one.
Yep.
Maybe if I see a lot of that in the room, it might be a 1-of, but that's
Yeah,
the only
definitely.
time I would.
Definitely is not going to be a 2-of, but I think it's good here in this tilt. It is a useful, I mean, kind of overpowered card, to be honest. But yeah. Thunder King. Is Thunder King worth putting next to these other normals at the bottom of it, or is it not recommended in Edison?
It's the same category as like D-Figure or Anti-Spell. It's a good card, just not in this era of Yu-Gi-Oh!
I think just unfortunately it's not that great in Edison format. It's obviously like literally a month after Edison format, we reached Shiver format and it's an all-star, but like we're not in that format. So I don't know.
You side this into Eurobeat, and it's kind of good though going first.
It's okay, but like again,
still-
they're also backrow dot deck. They play the Smashing Grounds too. Like, I mean, it's not gonna like actually fun them out though. It's just gonna enforce a removal, and or they're gonna try to crash into it.
It trades with the Sidra, it trades with the Alias, it trades, and they can't equal. Anyway, I'm spending too much time on this card. It's okay, it's pretty bad. If it were to be ranked on all those optional monsters, I think it's alright, but it's the bottom.
But yeah, if you were gonna target it for ERB, then like we established earlier, you probably just decide to come in instead.
I think this is the right tier for it right now. It would take significant change where we can't recommend it right now. I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
MST main or side must include. I wouldn't tell someone like they should never have it in the main. I still think as of today you should have it available. So I like it here.
Yeah, I could dream World out, but for like not getting into weird, stupid nuance, yeah, just side it if you know what I mean. It's a good card.
Mm-hmm.
I think we are really close to a world where I'd say put it in TO, but as of right now, I'd put it where we put it here.
I agree. YCS Orlando, I think I didn't have it available at all, and I very rarely regret it. But yeah,
like me, I will call out that between main and side, I normally like to count how many up to an established correction I have, and I have 6, and this is the 6th. So like, if I didn't feel like I needed 6, it would be the one that's dropped first.
Yep. Yeah, especially if you're at 44, you really do need to have 6 available.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right, torrential. I can see the argument to say main or side and not 100% main, but I like to have it in the main always.
I've almost never played with this card. I played with it at YCS Providence, so take that for what it is. But I have made it in like literally like almost the entire time I played this deck. I sided a little bit for the frog matchup or from going second in certain matchups, but I don't think it's something you have to main. It's good though. I get everyone's gonna probably not agree with me, and for that reason, I'm totally cool with it being where it is. I just wanted to say you don't necessarily have to play it.
Jake?
I personally like where it is. Obviously, again, it was the other card that I didn't play the original matchup because it's Scarlet Road. That was a different world, and I think I want all the power cards.
Yep.
And then also, I ran into situations when I didn't play Torrential for a bit in the current meta of when I was siding against Black Wings, and I already sided 3 trap holes. That I had one card I faced down at one point, and I was like, man, I wish I could decide this out for a better card. What could I decide it out for? And like, if the one card was instead of torrential, I win. And I decided, I was like, well, I guess I just want every single trap hole like effect in my deck as an option for Black Wings.
It's accurate. And like, it's just a good card. It's good to be able to threaten it. It's good against frogs specifically to be able to like chain block or make the dupes miss timing. So yeah, I think for me, I put it in main, but main or side I think is correct. Transmigration. If we put Crow at the top of this, Transmigration's I think probably the bottom-ish of it. I like the card a lot, but I understand a lot of people don't. So
I have no reps with it. I think it's a good card. I don't side it, but I can see it being really good. So I don't
Yeah,
care.
like I don't mind where it's put. I think it goes in yellow no matter what. I think personally, I like it more than Pro. However, I understand people that don't fight it over Pro. I find that like the matchup, for example, that you talked about, Josh, of where like you're not sure if you would side Pro against like certain rock matchups. Like at least this will just answer both Freeborns in grade every single time the turn you need it to. It doesn't answer forever, but we have RTRs, so we're not really concerned about forever. But and also the value shuffling them back into the deck can be a lot more relevant than managing them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The only reason this isn't higher for me is just because I only love this versus value. And everything else, it's like
so good versus value.
It's actually absurd how good it is. Like sometimes it eats like an MST versus value, and then you go put 2 back in the deck, or like obviously you ideally chain it to plague and you hit plague and a value or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
I genuinely think it's just better than Pro versus value.
It is.
I think
for sure.
Pro is arguably better in certain other matchups, though.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I think somewhere in here, I don't have the perfect spot for it, but
I'll put it above proving grounds. It's not where we get crazy.
oh goddamn! You think I'm like choosing this exact spot? Well, now we gotta put Morph in here.
Some people are probably watching and thinking it's like
So if anyone's gotten this far in this, not all of these. There's some effort put into it, I think, on the go, but not all of these are ordered like explicitly within tiers. There's tiers for a reason.
Yeah.
Wabaku. I think
we're all going to say it's an optional card.
it's just optional.
It's top optional.
Top of optional? I'm good with that.
I really like the card, but
Yeah,
I'm not going to rant about it. Which we should, because everyone asks about Wabaku every single day. But even if we talked about it for 2 hours, they're going to ask anyway.
They're going to ask the same questions. They're not going to... So I do think this is one of the few cards that are left, and I'm like, maybe it's worth like really clarifying. But like the viewpoint on Wabaku is, I think as you get better at the deck, you appreciate versatility increasingly, where the compulses and books all kind of fill those spots that you would maybe consider the Wabaku in. Third Prison also is maybe like a flex spot for the Wabaku in it. Ultimately, as you get better at the deck, you really just, I think, appreciate removal and, like, again, that flexibility. Its pluses, though, are also very notable of, like, I open, like, setting Chariot Wabaku, they heavy storm me, and I really don't care at all. It, like, eats those MSTs in a really positive way. Obviously, tagging in the middle of their turn is also really great when it works out that way. So it's squarely in consideration as a... one of, I think. 2 of is pushing it, but I can understand it. 3 of is insanity. So
it's similar to like Gorz and Straw the Road. That's how you have to view the card. And then one other is that if you are monster flooded, it's probably, in my opinion, one of the better cards to see generally. Like if I opened up like 4 monsters, I'd like to see Wabaku just because it can really get you there. Like if you open 4 monsters in a row, I'm tight, you know?
I will also call out as a caveat, because I tested over 1 for a while. I am of the opinion that you don't play this card almost ever over Mirror Force and Free Prison. I think it's then, if you're playing all of those, then it's worth considering. But anytime I considered playing over 1 prison, and I tried it, like 90% of the time I wish it was prison.
Yeah.
I like it. I have played 2 Deep Prison and Wabaku, but I agree that Deep Prison's good. But I think we're pretty much settled on that.
Yeah.
We know it's useful and optional.
Right there. Yada. I mean, for me, I'm putting this down here. I know Jake and Murray used to play this.
Yeah, I'll let those guys talk about it.
You guys can fight it out, but we're starting down here.
Me personally, I say niche, but
Yeah, I think it was just like for like side deck reasons, just to her side deck patterns a little
Specifically for side deck.
Specifically
Yeah.
for side deck, I suppose.
Yeah, like the reason that we went with that at the time was we wanted to play a 40 card deck because we weren't playing Prisma and 40 cards was like optimal for our ratios.
Yep.
But we wanted to side in Secutor, but not drop any monsters to do it. So we opted that our deck felt a little bit bricky adding an extra monster if we played 41 with one Yada, and we only side out the one Yada if we're siding a monster. So like we're sort of playing a 40 card deck, but post side we're playing a 41 card deck.
Yep.
So like it only made sense there, and it was good. There was a ton of times I went plus off heavy storm. So like
Yeah.
But yeah.
It has its role. It can have its role, but I don't do it. But yeah, I agree. This is just the right spot for it, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Dark, Bribe, and Seven Tools are kind of next to each other here. So,
Dark Bribe's the worst out of the two, I think. I think Dark Bribe I was put at the bottom. Yeah.
I've heard people lose some stuff with the card, but I think it's wrong.
I mean, I see
still have
them.
a time with it.
I see them all lose too. Like as soon as Dark Bribe resolves against me, I kind of feel like I just win the game. Is just ambiguous.
Yeah.
I think it's actually kind of good in the mirror, unfortunately.
And then I think Seven Tools was on Leash.
I kind of like the card. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm almost sounding to leak my goo, but I know you guys think it's not good into Blackwing and GB playing that card, but that card smokes shit out of me, Raleigh. I'm almost considering siding a copy or making a copy just to get around.
So day one, I got destroyed by Blackwing's banning that. So I don't know, like it's probably better than what I'm giving you credit for. But like,
I'm at minimum cutting my body for the 7 tools.
well, that's fair. But
I
like,
think the better Blackwing players are all playing 7 tools, and it's better counter to that. When they're playing my body, I can get my body or my body, but now they're playing 7 tools, like I got 7 tools, they're 7 tools.
that's fair. I get that one.
You want me to put it here?
But that's definitely fair. The only clarification I would make on this card is I don't think you ever play this card over one of your sleepers. It's another card you're playing this card over, because you can't think of this card like an oppression counter. The sleepers have to also duel as ways that sometimes you need to get around oppression to be able to play.
And establish
This
something.
doesn't get around an established oppression.
Yeah.
And it's no better than Solomon in that kind of way, you know? So.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm fine if Morph really wants to put it here.
I'm fine with putting it in the grade, but I think the card is optional and not mandatory.
Okay.
I don't think it's niche. I think it's okay.
All right. We'll put it here. Morph, this is your contribution today. Thank you very much.
Thanks for giving me that one.
No, I think it's fine. I'm personally not going to consider it for a long time. And Dark Bribe, I do think ends up down here fairly. You just got to do other stuff before you do stuff like that. Okay, so moving on to Bottomless being slotted into the red. Very quick. Yep, we just would. Coldway, this is an interesting one. It's
Main deck.
It's the best out of all the sleepers.
Yes.
I would put it in the main deck, but I have to push back because I know Simpson doesn't like the card. So
Simpson does not.
Main side at the minimum.
I think it's main or side is where I feel comfortable putting it.
I've had a complete change of heart.
I'm going to tiebreaker just because I know Simpson's putting it here. So if we're split, I know Simpson's the tiebreaker on this, so I'll put it here. But I agree that it is absolutely broken in our Prisma builds. Go ahead, Jake. I think you're going to talk a little bit about it, but
it's just the only one of those back row cards that fixed if you draw it into your all monster hands, it turns them into like game-winning hands, and it's actually just so unfair. Because there's sometimes you can draw a Heavy Storm or Trap Storm into an all monster hand, and sure you blow up the board one turn, but then you just die to everything, and they set up everything. This card, the fact that you can just Cold Wave, blow up the board, now they can't set anything on the back, and then you just blow up the board again, and for sure anything to hurt versus no back rows, and now they're playing on the same playing field that we did play to play drafts. The whole rest of the game because you're just not drawing them. You just win so many free games because of it. So many games you shouldn't win with the Cold Wave.
Yeah. It's funny because when I first started in Edison, and for a long time I played Cold Wave, and people told me I was a little bit crazy. And now we're all here again. And honestly, I'm not down on it. I had it outside of the main and side for a little bit in the middle of that, but I just think the card's so good, and I just love playing it. It's just a very fun card to play that also happens to be exceptional in our deck.
I think I was Cold Wave's biggest hater for a while, and I definitely come around to it. But I think with the resurgence of all the book of moons on top of it all, it just makes way more sense now than ever.
That's also an additional call out, which I forgot to mention. Yeah, people are now being more keen to their side of choice versus GB is making sure they have 2 books on the side, and this makes sure you don't lose the book.
Yep, that is very true. We are seeing it more and more for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All of our back row cards there, but we got them.
Finally, I can see the end.
Yes, it's here. We're close on it. So we have Pulling the Rug next. I've never thought it's worth considering. I've seen people do it, and I tested a little bit, and for me, it's just we have our Chariot. It's not worth considering. What do you guys think?
We're stuck with Chariot. So.
You're gonna have to agree. There's a world I think about it because it's Solex, but let's be real.
Yeah, you're niching out the scenarios too much.
I only ever like it into Hero Frogs and Machina gadgets, in my opinion, and that's such a narrow spread to try to side that card versus that I don't know, Machina gadgets you're already siding spiders, and then Hero Frogs is that matchup really that bad? So.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Oh, Solemn, another free right to the top. Solemn, probably my favorite card. In general,
Never take it out.
Fucking love that card so much. I wish we still had 3.
Quick fun fact, Yu-Gi-Oh! History. GB's GB format was the first time that everybody in every single deck started playing 3 Solemn. Because it turns out Perf plus Solemn when Chariot doesn't exist win games.
It just ends games immediately.
Yeah.
God, card's so good. Absurd.
Iron Wall.
Imperial Iron Wall. This is instantly here for me. People ask.
Yeah.
People ask about this I think fairly frequently, fairly frequently relative to how bad I think the card is, as if it's a good card to play in GBs, and I'm just astonished when we don't have legitimately good replacements for these cards that allow us to play the game. Really, I don't know. It's not even remotely in consideration. Mind Control, probably the screen tier for me. You think the bottom tier?
Maybe you get cheeky. That's it.
I mean,
even in the mirror,
you have it demands a second.
Get a second guy on the field, or else they just get it back. This isn't even I'd call a mirror match side. This is you trying to get a Reiko. I don't know.
Yeah. So you want dark green or light green?
Who cares?
I mean, I literally don't consider it.
There's both the air value beside
There you go. Needle Ceiling. I think for us, it's this right now.
Yeah, it's poop.
I think there's a world.
It's probably there. I will say it's one of those cards. It's just another card that you could do cute Darius combos with, of like wipe the board and get the GB out with its effects. But like, yeah.
What were you gonna say, Josh? Like, what's your dream world with this?
I mean, just like really, it's like Forgs. It's just another out to a few of the decks where, like any deck where like I really love Torrential, because they go wide a little bit. It'd be another like thing that I can.
Yeah, pretty much just before. I feel like, but I can see it being good. That card, I mean, Torrential is just a bad card against stuff.
Yeah, it would be. It's basically like a attempt at a second copy of Torrential, essentially. But I just don't think it's relevant enough to do. Prohibition. I think we're all here. This was recently.
Is 9, like Hero B players, maybe you think about it, and you finally play it.
Someone was recently arguing in the GB Discord about it. That's why it made its way into this list, but because I hadn't even thought about the card in forever. But
you want to give it its fair shakedown so it never comes up again?
No, we've just given it its fair shakedown. It's here.
Great.
This is its fair shakedown. Phoenix Wing Wind Blast.
I couldn't keep my mouth shut on this. I feel like this is a highly debated topic by one person.
I'm gonna say. I personally say niche.
Okay.
Like, my only reason here is that a certain number of GB cards are curable, so like you can get around the pitch one, and GBs and flexibility is good, and it has the flexibility of removing anything. But then also you being able to plan around their next draw is kind of broken in GBs in a similar way that Dutch is just crazy in GBs, of you knowing exactly how to play and what to tag into. So like, it is a really cool card, but like you normally don't want to discard a card to play it.
Yeah, that's where I am too. I think this is where I would have ended up with it as well. Is just
I kind of dream a world where I would bring it in, but I don't know what matchup I really want that card.
I think it's better if you're going around this train of like playing Reckless, playing Respite, or like playing Ryko and playing Indomitable Gladiator Beast and getting it back to your hand for free. Like I think it's better in those directions, but like not in like a standard perfect build.
Yeah, I agree. We just no.
It's outclassed by Compulsory for the most part in most applications.
Yeah. Cool. All right, Soul Release. I think I'm here with this right now. I could maybe see the argument.
Get it out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
It's not chainable. Like
that's the
if
real.
I really need to like get something out of the grave by the end of the turn, I have a already.
Yeah.
Get two of them.
Exactly.
The real thing is it's kind of really only Lightsworn and Twilight, or like Lightsworn variants, that you really want to consider, because sometimes those can outclass Rediari pace, and you're just a big sweep of them really could make a big difference, but it's just not a thing that we need to consider legitimately. Soul Taker.
Bottom. Put it at the bottom.
Yeah, I would say at the bottom as well. I don't think it has a legitimate role for us today.
There's only one single thing I think you can justify Soul Taker for. And that is, if you're specifically trying to burst frogs, I can kind of see it, because if they have a Duke Frog and an Vanity Fiend, you can't have the Vanity Fiend, and it also makes Duke Frog miss time. But I'm not siding it. Just saying.
Oh, yeah, I see
And
that.
then also, again, the whole thing of like, if Soul Taker target something like, hold on. My audio died. There we go. We're good. You guys hear me?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So there's also the thing of how Smash does target, right? And then so outside of being relevant for like Titanium, stuff like that, it's also just for like they could compulse their dude, and smashing at least goes to the next guy and kills it. Like this does, like it's like a whole bunch of reasons why it's not great.
Yeah, I agree for all these reasons.
So yeah. Anyway.
Speaking of untargeted removal, Widespread Ruin.
That's too low. That's too low. Put it a little higher than that.
I agree. Me and Murray have with that card.
That's too high.
No. High enough. Put it above Sanga. Above Sanga.
Above
Oh,
Sanga.
that's rude.
What
That's
the
rude to say.
fuck?
When I was playing it was like a fifth deep prison against Blackwing, which is not terrible, right? And at the time, Amaryllis was more popular, so there were more Titaniums in the format. So it's like, as an out specifically stuff like that, it's okay. It's good.
I will also call out that if you're ever somebody who feels like Mirror Force isn't like that you don't like Mirror Force. Like personally, I think Mirror Force is worse than DD Prison. Me personally, in the format, because there's just too much stuff on bench. But like Mirror Force doesn't target; it can hit more things. But like usually, it's just one for one things. This card is the same thing, but will for sure only one for one thing. But it will never trigger Starlight Road. So there is a world where you want to play it on Starlight Road, and you want a non-targeted another deeper type of effect, right?
These worlds exist, but we have not entered them.
I'll be honest, the only thing I would push back, I think Mirror Force might be better in stack than DD Prison, just because of the way people have to play against us. But I don't think
That's fair enough. I mean, like in the same way, like I have, like I think Mirror Force is just crazy for like the pluses it can give. The same way.
I get it. There's some weird niche where like Titanium's number one deck, and you gotta play the trigger card.
Yeah. So that's where I have it at, though.
This is the most generous.
It is the one that you would play over Sakuretsu Ground. Sakuretsu Armor for sure. Like,
fair. That's fair, yes.
That's probably good. Yeah.
Okay. So, Widespread Ruin made its way in there. Sirocco. It's one of these.
It's better than you think, but I just like how we can fix it.
It's in the same categories like Aina and Kaiku, but it's like the worst out of the bunch, I think.
Do you think?
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough.
It feels a similar role to me as DD Warrior Lady in the Black matchup, in that it's a card that you can run right into a sure return one, and play around Icarus and Glue. But I just like that Consecrated Light, and it conflicts heavily now. I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely understand if someone wants to do it. I mean, we are in a meta where 40% of every tournament basically is going to have something that you could put this in and feel like you could just like stumble into a pump for game scenario. So I think it's fine here. It's definitely not.
I think I feel pretty comfortable with my Black matchup, but like to newer players, I think it's like a training wheels for them for that matchup. I don't know, like I always recommend them Sirocco for that matchup.
Yeah, that's fair. I think
that's definitely fair.
If we're being honest, the hard part is not saying it's useful. The hard part is like, how is it fitting in to the 15 is like the real challenge to this. But
I think if I were not signing Consecrated, like if that card were deleted, I'd feel stronger about Sirocco.
That's completely
There's
fair.
just a limited monster slot. That's really the problem.
Yeah.
You can only play so many normals.
That's definitely fair. Yes. So I think somewhere bottom of this tier. I think it might be closer to this tier for me, but this is very acceptable to be here as well. Magic Drain.
I think that card is a card that's better than we think it is.
I think it's worse.
Damn.
Really?
So the good thing about Magic Drain, because I've played with this card a lot, is that it's good when there's a limited amount of spells, when it can actually like negate something. But the problem is even when your opponent negates it, it's still a 1-for-1 if you really math it out, because the card doesn't go through. So you're 1-for-1ing, and they have the option to negate the card. So they have no power really, unless they only have one spell.
Yeah. I mean, like, and for me it's light green, but like I think that because it's always a 1-for-1, it's definitely like It's definitely in the realm of 7 tools, but you don't have as much control over where the 1-for-1 is, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, there's a different value of, like, I personally think on average, it depends on the deck you're playing against, but, like, at least, like, Blackwings, GBs, and Bayou, they play more traps than spells,
Yeah, for
pretty
sure.
much across the
By
board
like,
total.
by like a
So,
double.
like, there will be a lot of times, actually most of the time, I think, that Magic Drain will just negate the card it plays, but 7 tools in general will be negating more cards more often
Yeah.
because the amount of drops that are being played. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I might want to play Bribe over that card. Strange as,
I mean, that's
that sounds.
reasonable.
Really?
At least I know what whatever I'm trying to negate is negated. I feel like those spells you want to negate, you want to make sure. Like if you're getting heavy, and I don't want to soak my Magic Drain resolves. You know.
And you know what? I will call out though. Like ultimately, like this. This card is never gonna be your option only because one of the few spells you're trying to negate in this format is Heavy Storm, and you'd just be playing Starlight Road instead. Really, right? Like.
Yeah, realistically. Like,
I don't know. But I still don't think it's horrendous. Like somebody could tell me that they're playing it, and I wouldn't say it's the worst thing ever. Like I wouldn't say it's like you're playing like, you know, like what is it, Nobleman or like something like that on your side, you know? But yeah.
Yeah, you like it's like I get why you're coming from this position, even though I don't think it's right. I think I get it. Okay, so let's go to Autonomous Action Unit.
Might need to phone a friend on this one.
The best part is Simpson loves this card for the memes of like stealing someone's Stratos and searching a Prisma or our own Stratos. And a lot of people ask him about it, and they don't, like it's definitely kind of a joke for him to include it in a lot of these lists, and no one gets that it's kind of a joke at the same time, which is really funny to me. But there are situations, obviously, like if you're in the mirror, in some scenarios, it's going to be better than Brain Control. It's going to be better than Econ. So, like, there are times it's relevant. I actually just played in Fraser's tournament this past week that had Disc Commander. And so I mained one and I sided one. And it actually went crazy. I Black Rosed a guy by stealing his Arbellum, and I miswormed a Stardust, a Catastor, and an Absolute Zero with a 7 Diva. It was wild. But let's be honest, like it's not a great card for us to, I think, strongly consider. Do we agree here? I don't think it belongs honestly in yellow personally, but
I'll probably put it at the bottom.
I have to say, comment that the strongest play you did all tournament was summoning Rebellum. I don't know, maybe we should move Rebellum up.
No, I didn't summon Rebellum. I stole theirs.
I
had the flexibility. I had the flexibility of what I wanted. Was the key part. So I could see putting it here, but it's one of these two. What do you guys vote? Murray, you said here?
Yeah,
I have literally no idea where to rank this.
Yeah, I would just say there. The only cool call out is that we're a deck with an infinite size space in the extra deck. So like, I guess if you played it, you could play all the synchros, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody like Autonomous is my best CRE in the mirror and beats me with that, like they can have it, right?
What are they Autonomous your Bizarrus?
They can have it. They can have it.
I would only side that card against Hero Beat, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fair. All right. Next one is pole position.
I have opinions on that card. I think that card is hot if you're just trying to negate very certain things. If your goal is to have chainable destruction and stop brain control and soul exchange, it's good. If not, then it's not good. It's definitely niche. I would not put it in yellow.
Yeah.
But like that card hoses the hell out of brain control, econ, and soul exchange against the Monarch deck.
Yeah.
And Gemini Spark.
And Yeah, but the problem with Gemini Spark, they have too much other stuff in the deck for it to like carry the same weight, I feel like. But you are right.
It also, when it leaves the field, it instantly does the kill. So, like, you can chain it to, like, Heavy Storm to kill a Stardust, and Stardust can't negate it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not following that. Maybe I don't know.
So yeah, basically, pole position doesn't start a chain. It's like a condition that says when this face-up card leaves the field, kill the highest monster, and it instantly happens.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I got you. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like
I was trying to follow everything else. I forgot that it does that.
And more specifically, the only relevant matchup, because like we're not really seeing standard Fog Monarchs anymore,
Correct.
is like it is the card outside of Cyber Dragon that like hoses Solidarity Gadgets.
Yeah.
They play like 3 smashings in this deck, and it also creates an infinite loop of Solidarity that makes it so they can't summon.
Yes.
Doesn't it also, on the flip side, though, create an infinite loop where you can't summon in the right context?
Correct. So what you need to do is you usually end up, because if you usually have GB plus Chariot, you win that game, so they're always going to smashing you, so you just chain it to the smashing, and then now they just can't summon. Like, you obviously just choose when to use it, right? But yeah. And then, yeah, you need to be aware of what you're doing and making sure that you can, like, always have a GB on the field, and you're not in a scenario of, like, all right, next turn I'm going to attack. If they answer it, okay, I'm going to summon a GB main base too. Go ahead, you know? But yeah.
That scares the hell out of me. Even a gear frame.
It's
it's
a wild card. It's a fun card. It doesn't belong.
Very wild card though.
It doesn't belong in like this era of Edison is like the real thing with it right now. It doesn't have enough matchups that we expect. But I agree. All those ones like
I found it was early like when Edison came back, and there was a time where everybody was maining Mind Control at the like Edison 4 years ago. Like almost all the decks were maining Mind Control alongside Brain Control.
Yeah.
I found this card being good enough to main deck one of. But like when there was only Brain Control to worry about, I don't like it that much.
Yeah, it's just not enough. But that makes sense.
So yeah, it reminded me of Starlight Road, where you're just using it for a couple cards.
Yep.
There was also really cute interactions where like you could basically summon a 1500 Murmillo with that card on the field, because like you could just pop it to kill their big thing instead of having like a 800 in the field.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So the next card we have is Icarus Attack. Icarus Attack.
I think it just goes in the niche. Not recommended personally, but you guys can tell me if it's
build around.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, like I think you build around it. I think it's probably better than we think it is, but at the same time, like people are already convinced that like Starlight Road is amazing in the GBs, and like it's gonna feel really bad if you're Starlight Roaded. Like there's so many more decks that are siding stun nowadays that aren't even just GBs. Like I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And like
also, you want to have a GB on the field. You don't want to pop your GB and make sure it's not live. So
literally,
you have, like, another. But yeah,
that's exactly what I was about to say. Is like people talk about it like, oh, like Channing Icarus Attack sounds so good. I'm like, yeah, but it's not like in Blackwing. Like we care about our monster on the field so much more than the decks that knock their guys to the graveyard.
I will call it. Obviously, it's super adorable with Darius. When you can target Bestiaria or Quest and get out their effect, trigger their effect, and chain Icarus. But like still.
Yeah. Again, it's just niche in that.
Some Telegraph too.
Yeah.
It can be for sure. We have 2 more cards, guys. All right. Burden of the Mighty.
Don't do it.
This is where I have it. I agree.
I've never done it. I
If
feel
you
like
MST you're gonna be so sad.
every time that's what I hear is like everyone's like, this card's so good, you have to try it. And then they come back like a day later, like, nah, I got my space, like I got the card forever.
I agree. It just doesn't belong. We saved we saved our only Gladiator Beast for last.
Best card in the game.
Where is our Hopomus ending up at?
That goes right into yellow for me.
Right
Right
into
top.
yellow. You guys are big.
I'm not even
Hopomus.
gonna argue it. I think that it's probably good in the Blackwing and Hero Beat.
Yep, that's exactly.
I'm very top of yellow though, personally.
Yeah, honestly, it's like where like if you put like if you put a picture of Retiari and said second Retiari, and this was on our list, like this would be right next to that Retiari.
That's
how
I
we feel.
think I typically still like Wabaku and Road more than Hop, no matter what. But
Here's Morph again, trying to rank the tiers.
You just said top of yellow. I don't know. I haven't played with that card ever.
I've never really enjoyed Hopmus that much. There are a lot of games where, not a lot of games. There are some times where I'm like, I really want something big, but I'm worried about bottomless. That Hop can carry some like unique value in, because a lot of times those games are like, I just need a GB next turn and I win. And he does kind of fill a void for that into those couple of those key matchups. Again,
he is also the only GB that lets you
summon Spark,
like play around brain control super easily.
Oh, he's also the one that lets us summon Spark.
You can geyser it. Like, let's say you're not going into hurt because you don't have the things engraved. You, like, for clarity for viewers, you can geyser tag out into any GB in attack mode plus a hop in defense mode, and they can't brain control one and run over the other.
Yep.
But yeah,
it does come up for sure. And
it definitely does come up, especially when your only back row is like Chariot. But yeah,
there's like a special sense of security when that happens and it comes up. You're like, oh, like the chances they can out 2100 attack and 2400 defense in one turn is nuts.
and there's a certain subsets of cards that I've kind of mentioned some of in this list that become a lot better if you do play the hop. Like any one of these monsters that you might side in and set becomes super mind games if they see a hop. Yeah. Proving Ground is better. Like, hop is better if you're playing the one Proving Ground. Like, there's a lot of situations where, like, the hop becomes instantly better. Yeah. But again, the fact that it's searchable, taggable, thing that Hero Beat can't get over is super annoying for them.
Mm-hmm. And Cyber Dragon especially, not even being able to attack over it is a pretty notable thing.
Yeah, like, in the same way that we were talking about, like, if Hero Beat was, like, 40% of the format, we consider Snowman. Like, I'd probably consider the first hop first, and then Snowman. But,
Yeah, I agree with that.
All I'm going to say is that if Johnson was able to put us back on Prisma, we'll put him back on Compulsory. Just watch.
Yeah. Well, it took a long time of me and Murray talking forever about 2 Samnite, and then us being so sold on one smashing, one shrink.
Yep.
Forever. And but finally we got there on least in the arguments, right? For it, so.
Yeah.
We came in.
Yeah.
We did. The second Samnite, like the smashing, the shrinks is funny because I ran shrink early and I just brought it out entirely, and then put them both back in, and I was just like, it's filling its great role at one. I hated it too, honestly. Yep. It just feels way overdrawn. But at one, it just fills a nice little role. And and then the double Samnites came, like it was like August or October of last year, and I was like, I'm just gonna test this out for like a month and a half and see how I feel. And it came up enough where I felt good about it. And now we have the Darius Quest argument, which I don't think there's a right answer of it that's clear, to be honest. No. It's one of those are one of the arguments I also don't even feel important enough to argue about, you know?
No, there really isn't. And not for nothing, we're going to argue it every day when someone brings it up.
It's true. There's a reason I didn't include those cards in this thing, because it's like a different conversation. But the approach I did want to take here that I think we did a good job with was essentially that of like trying to show like there's a range of outcomes and pros cons to all these decisions, and it's not like building a GB deck is completely different, I feel like, than building all the other decks in the format. There's so much more flexibility that someone can take to it. And again, I know all of us like field these like questions all the time. I'm like, well, what do you think of this card? And I wanted to do this video to try and have like one thing we could point to that hit all those like potential in consideration cards, so that people can at least know like, hey, like, am I crazy for thinking about this? And if they
go to the video.
if they look at this, they're like, okay, I'm crazy, I don't need to think about it. Or maybe it's like, do I like this? Like, okay, yeah, like it's not too unreasonable for me to do this then. And so that's why we did this. I think this was a good structure to do.
My hope is we come back to this video in a year and we look like idiots.
Or we're gonna come back in this video in the year. We're gonna be like, like it was right. We're all main Grand Mole now.
Yeah, Grand Mole is stationary.
Yeah.
Arabelle was the truth after all.
Arabelle was the truth after all.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what time we're at exactly, but I'm sure it's way more than I originally intended.
You started the recording.
But I appreciate you guys doing this, and hopefully everyone enjoys it. I guess lastly, do any of you guys want to call anything out for the people that make it all the way to the end of this video? Any call outs or things that you want people to follow?
I'm going to call out those people. Like, you listen to 3 hours of us ramble about, like, I don't even know, Arabellum and so many, or like, I don't know, you're a freak. Good for you, though.
Yeah, no, we appreciate all you guys for actually tuning in for this. I know this is a very long talk, but I also think there were some good discussions, so, you know.
I think so, too. There is no quick way to do this, honestly, the right way. It just takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't even think this covers like everything. There's still some cards, but I don't know. I mean, it was a nice video. I liked it.
It was the same way. Like, I went through it, and I was like, there's some 4 cards I put in light green, but yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. Well, they'll get brought up. Maybe we'll have to do version 2.
Yeah, right.
Someone's gonna mention
All right. Well, thanks everybody. I'm gonna